1-800-761-9761 to learn how to earn retirement income while keeping your taxes at bay. Just dial 1-800-761-9761 for a copy of their informative bond guide for free. No cost, no obligation. 1-800-761-9761. Henyon and Walsh Inc. Member of FINRA and SIPC.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Have you ever wanted to learn how to make jewelry? How about learning how to design animations or create pottery? This year, explore your future in art with Munson. Munson in downtown Utica offers courses for artists of all ages, interests, and abilities. They also feature art appreciation classes for people more interested in learning than creating. Classes for the winter-spring semester begin in January. So register now at munson.art. That's munson.art.
Get ready for this week's half-off Thursday deal with SeizeTheDeal.com. Score your half-off gift certificate to Villa Verona Vineyard and Bistro this Thursday morning starting at 8. Get $50 for $25 with Seize the Deal's half-off Thursday. Villa Verona Vineyard and Bistro. Enjoy fine wine made on the premises in the tasting room, plus great food at the bistro. Just minutes west of New York State Thruway, exit 33 on Route 365 Verona. Get your half-off Thursday gift certificates this Thursday from Villa Verona Vineyard and Bistro. Hurry, they sell out fast at SeizeTheDeal.com.
The most important thing for me is service after the sale. Collis has been around for a long time. They've been a standard, a pillar in the community, and it's very important to me that when I need service down the road, I will be able to get that with a firm that's here and will be here. It makes my home so much more comfortable. It's quiet. Every room is evenly heated, and you can feel zero draft coming in through the doors and the windows from before. Should have been done years ago. I recommend them to anybody.
Improve your comfort with a free home energy assessment by Collis. Visit fredfcollis.com.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started. On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
So, supposedly, we are going to be getting some inclement weather today, where temperatures are, I should say, snow, maybe 2 to 4, 3 to 5 inches, a little sloppy through the day. There's about, if you look at the hourly forecast, there's about I think it says almost an 80% chance of snow right now. But I don't see any snow out there. I mean, it may be snowing where you're at, but it has not been snowing where I'm at. Which means if a tree lands in the forest and there's nobody there, right? Does the tree really land, Davey?
Don't know.
You don't know, right? You just don't know.
Don't know where to land.
How you doing, Davey, after yesterday's 4:30 appearance by the Buffalo Bills?
Awesome.
Josh Allen looked dynamite yesterday.
Yep.
And so did the Bills. The Bills' defense looked good. I mean, they allowed, there were a couple of things. Sometimes I wonder about decisions that are made. They should have punted that ball away at the end of the first half. just because that it is so cold and it's so windy. You know, you keep the ball as warm as you can, but the minute you get that ball out and it's exposed to the elements, it immediately turns into a rock. And it hurts to kick. It's not predictable anymore. And in this case, they ended up blocking it, which opened the door for them to get right back into the game.
Pittsburgh.
For the Steelers to get right back into the game. So it was. And they came back, right? They looked like, wow, we're going to get back into this thing, and then the Bills just put a stop to that. So, a great performance by Buffalo. And how about the late game?
Yeah, totally shocked when I woke up this morning. I see Buccaneers beat the.
They didn't beat
Eagles.
them. They didn't beat them, Davey.
They whooped them.
They whooped them. Wow, a whooping.
How about get back to the Bills game real quick? How about the first time ever two different tight ends have touchdowns?
Yeah.
The Dawson Knox and Kincaid.
Was that in the first quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty darn impressive. So that was really big. So now it sets up the lineup. So the Buffalo Bills will be hosting. And by the way, it's the first time Mahomes and Kelsey will be on the road for a playoff game.
And Taylor Swift.
I saw a lot of signs last night during the Bills game. Yeah. Taylor, you're coming here, or whatever. There's no word yet that she is, but I can't imagine she wouldn't, right? She braved the cold in Kansas City.
She can brave the elements in Buffalo.
Yeah. So it's expected that that will be. And, you know, as much as we talk about how everybody's writing about how this whole Taylor Swift thing is ridiculous, they're all writing about it. There's stories all over the sports and news about Taylor Swift's next stop will be in Buffalo, New York. Now, the other part of this is if the Ravens can, if we can see the Ravens get beat next week or this weekend, the Bills would be, and the Bills win, they'd be home again. So
hosting the championship.
There's a lot to manage there. And my call for the Super Bowl is the Green Bay Packers and the Buffalo Bills. Very unlikely, right? I mean, this weekend, the Green Bay Packers, I believe, are like 10-point underdogs going into their game this weekend with San Francisco. But, this team is red hot. In fact, I'm not sure I want the Bills to play the Packers. Pretty scary. They're playing really, really well. All right, a bunch of stuff to get to here today. We have a guest host who will be making his or her way into the studio here this morning. I'm not going to reveal who it is till they walk through the door.
They should have been here.
There's a surprise. We'll get to that. The government shutdown, we'll talk more about that with Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio. The Iowa caucuses were held yesterday, and no surprise, Donald Trump a big winner, and almost tied between the two was the Florida governor,
Ron DeSantis,
and the other one,
Nikki Haley. And Ramaswamy.
It's been a long. I'm on Benadryl right now, just so you know. Dr. Ken Hall with an update on everybody getting sick these days, and we'll talk a little bit about if you do get COVID or any of these other viruses that are going around. There is a bell ringing. Could that be our special guest? It might be. If you do get COVID, what is the long hauler? What does that mean? And are there symptoms that linger with you? And the answer to that is yes. And one of those big symptoms is fatigue. We'll talk more with Dr. Hall about that coming up in a few minutes. Congressman Brandon Williams, who's been all over the news for being swatted, will be on later on this morning. Meaning somebody called and sent police to his home, which was a pretty scary moment there. Congressman Williams is up. Eben Brown a little later on. Sheriff Rob Maciol. And making his way into our studio as our special guest here this morning, there he is, Jeff Manasi.
Sorry, I drove off the road when I heard that you thought the Packers were going to win the Super Bowl.
Listen, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Go to the Super Bowl.
No, and I didn't say I want them to go to the Super Bowl. I think I said I need them to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah?
There's a much different much different deal there. How about, can we, first of all, you getting all settled in there?
Yeah, I should have brought headphones. I didn't even think of it. I've got these... These, what you used to call my headphones, the Mattel, made by Mattel?
I think Fisher Price was
Fisher Price.
A little
that's
funnier.
what it was.
Yeah. Okay. So, by the way, we still every day get somebody asking, "Where's Jeff Monaski?" And you made a choice, a career choice, and you've stuck to it until today. You've made your way back here.
Yes, just for a day. But, I'm doing something a little different now. You want me to get into it?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
So I'm actually in the...
I think what you've done, if I can just say for myself, I think what you have done, and far be it from me to say what you've done, but you've been here since you were just out of high school, for God's
Yeah,
sakes.
19.
And I think you just sometimes this job is an overwhelming job and never ending, by the way. Sometimes it's nice to have I punch in, I punch out, I get my work done, and I'm done.
100%, man. I again, and this is not a complaint, but I have to tell, and you know this, and Andrew knows this, and anybody who's worked in this business knows this. It's almost like. I just enjoy my time with my son or my girlfriend or my own time. You always kind of have your eye on what's going on in the news, what happened overnight in the area, who's going to be on the show. You're always kind of watching that off in the distance, and you almost autopilot, I think, a little bit. So it was nice to get away. It is nice to get away. So I'm actually over at FedEx now. I like it. I really enjoy it.
How do they do it? You have to finish your packages.
Yeah,
and then you're done, though, right?
And then you're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's not exciting. I've
do
actually
they call you though, like at around midnight, and say, "Hey, I hate to tell you this, but FedEx is off the air." None of that.
Never one time.
No. Oh,
that's funny. FedEx is off the air.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, so it's not. I hate to say this. I ran into somebody, a couple people, and they're like, well, "What are you doing now?" So I tell them, and I'm usually with the FedEx gear on, and they're like, "Oh yeah." So wow, like they don't know where to go after that, but it is what it is, and I like it. I enjoy it.
There is something to.
And I think I was at Smitty's house the other day. Actually, I think I was in like couple doors down from Smitty. I'll talk to you afterward. I don't want to give your address on the air, but
well, I thought also the fact that you really don't know what was in that brown wrap package, to be honest, right? So
yeah,
nobody really knows.
Nothing incriminating.
Anyway, so there's that, and it is hard for people to understand. I do know it's hard for people to understand because you're very good at what you do on the air, and but people. It's life. I remember, to be honest with you, and this is a little bit different, but I remember working in Providence, and I had a boss who, I liked. He was shady, very shady. In fact, shortly after I left, Providence has many similarities to Utica, but shortly after I left, he ended up going to prison and leaving radio altogether, and these things that you can't do, pay to play, and all that stuff in radio just can't be done. Anyway, I remember when I first moved there. I'll give you a little. This is inside baseball, but when I first moved there, he was a legendary jock from Chicago, and had this ballsy voice, this unbelievably low voice, and the station had a little reverb on, so it had that old-fashioned feel. Yet it was a top 40 station. Anyway, I was just getting myself moved in, and I was short on cash moving in. And he said, "Well, I do have a friend who's a record rep. He could probably loan you $3,000 to get you started if you want to do that." I'm like, "Oh my God, that would be awesome." So the deal was I ended up having to pay him like $500 a month after that to pay back the $3,000. It got me started, which was awesome. Anyway, I paid him the $500 a month because that's where I got the money from. So I was in Providence close to 3 years. On my way out, there was a party, and I wanted to call this record rep because he was a great guy. And I said, "Did they get in touch with you? Are you coming to the party?" And he said, "Bill, I can't believe you even asked me when you completely borrowed money from me and you never paid me back."
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He took the money. And meanwhile, I loved this guy, and I am like covering for him. Like I didn't want to say I was paying this. This has been paid off 2 years ago.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, that's anyway. So
nobody got their legs broken though.
No, not that I know because I left and I did finally tell him. I said I paid that bill.
Yeah,
that was paid off a long time ago.
That is a funny Bill Keeler story, man.
You can't make this stuff up. I'm telling you.
I know.
It'll be in the book. And
I
then
hope so.
and then on the way out. So keeping in mind that I had a wild couple of years in radio, and ultimately I had 2 children, 2 young boys, and I would travel back. So one was with me, and my oldest was not. So I would travel back usually on Wednesdays back to here, which was an 8-hour swing when you think about it. It's a 4-hour drive to Providence. So it became very tough, and I just got to the point where I'm like, I want to be a father to my kids. You know, here I am interviewing in Boston. That would be the likely next step for me in my career. And I sat down with my boss, and I said, I got a chance to go back to Utica. And he said, what in the hell is wrong with, why would you want to go back to Utica? And I said, well, you know, if I want my kids to know who I am, and if I want my 2 boys to be brothers and family, then we all have to be in the same town. We all have to be there. And he said, listen, I've got 6 kids. All over the country.
Yeah.
I see him at Thanksgiving. I see him at Christmas. Everybody's fine. So, and I know it's a long way around telling you the story about being able to spend time with your son, but that's really what it's all about. You make that decision. Are you going to be a dad, or are you just going to put your career first?
Yeah, it's when you say about going back to Utica, of course, is home.
The hell are you thinking going back to Utica?
I completely understand that, and I understand that you do too. So I miss everybody. You know, that's the worst part of it is missing you guys. And when I hear you, my instinct is always to start texting or calling, and I try not to do that just because it's. Well, I guess I don't know why, because I would comment or question or call in on every single issue that you guys talked about.
Listen, you are absolutely welcome to, and I hope you do. Here's some guy in the 540 on YouTube this morning. Are we dreaming? Now all we need is Joe Lowe to come in, and we're all done. It's all set.
Yes, good morning.
Andrew Derminio, who's away. Christine Bellino. It's but you know, every single person that has moved on for important reasons to themselves, and people want to think there's some sort of a thing there, and there really isn't a thing. Well, there's a thing. Trust me.
We should make one up. I mean, anything for ratings, right?
We could definitely do that. Here is...
If I can just quickly congratulate you on your Buffalo Bills. I did get nervous for a second there in the second half when Pittsburgh cut it to a 1-score game, but the Bills marched right down, and you were right. I heard you say it coming in. Josh Allen. You know, sometimes you scratch your head, but it's a good thing the game wasn't in prime time, huh? Put him on at 4:30. He looks great.
I'm telling you.
7:30, I don't know.
Did you notice there were no turnovers? There were, the most that happened was that blocked field goal.
And that 52-yard run, my goodness.
Was that just something?
Holy cow.
Davey.
Yes, Bill.
Do you know what the odds the odds are of the Bills and Packers making it into the Super Bowl? But I'm going to tell you something. I don't think it's such a fantasy. And I realize the Bill. I mean, just getting through the Chiefs this week, I realize the game's at home.
Yeah.
That's going to be a hard game for the Bills to get through.
Absolutely.
And then beyond there, chances are we're heading to Baltimore, which will be another very difficult game to get through.
Yeah.
And the Packers this weekend are, people would say they have no chance against the 49ers this weekend. So, but I got to say, they're the only two teams that are really playing at their peak right now, or at the very least, these are two teams playing well above where anybody thought they were, the Bills and the Packers.
How about the Cowboys? Can we talk about that for a second? Here we go. How much?
I cannot stand his calls.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. It's almost like he's being sarcastic and making fun of every quarterback who came before him.
Who is that you make that you just
Dak Prescott.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. How does he? You've got it down. I can't.
Here we go.
It's almost like sarcastic the way he's calling
Yeah.
it. Now we're going down.
Yeah.
Montana 24. It's like, shut up. That is so annoying to listen to. For that reason alone, I'm glad, but many other reasons, I'm glad Dallas is out.
Yeah, I have to say, I did enjoy the whooping that they got. But they wouldn't cover anybody. They did not.
It was awful.
The Romeo
yeah.
guy, Dobbs, he didn't have a 100-yard game all season. I think he had 150.
Well, and last night the Eagles. What a fall. What an unbelievable fall. The Philadelphia Eagles this year.
I actually text Nagel because I hadn't seen any of the Eagles games. I'd just seen the scoreboard for the past month. And I said, what's going on? Are they really? They fell apart. They're no good. And he was baffled as well. I'll say quickly, good morning to Nagel. Sorry, but I did enjoy watching the Eagles get their butts kicked last night.
I have a couple of other comments. Let's see. Tim, happiness with your family is far more important than what you earn as in your paycheck. Those memories last a lot longer. Wonderful to hear Jeff on the radio. That's cool. What else? Mark says, hey, if Jeff was going to come into FedEx, I would have directed him towards Express, not ground. Different animals. I'm starting year 26.
Wow.
Yeah, and believe me, it's very funny how I was having a conversation with someone just yesterday. Do you know where they work, and they've worked for like 30 years, is McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
They've made their way into management. They're managing more than one store now. They're moving up to a district level, and they're making huge dough working at McDonald's. I know somebody else has done the exact same thing at Stewart's. So you can make money and people look at it like, well, why would you want to do FedEx? To me, driving down the road is the greatest time in the world because you are at peace. You've got everything going on in your head, and you're working all the world's problems out in your head as you drive.
Oh, you're 100% right. It's so funny. It's so it's like I used to say, like when I'd go on a walk, if you're, in any time, really, if you're frustrated or whatever, you go on a walk, you kind of clear your mind. I feel that same way when I'm, on the road, behind the wheel driving. But look, it's great. It's, again, I know it sounds bad, but it's the in and out. I'm in, I'm working, I'm not, and I'm not. I don't mind it at all. I actually really enjoy it.
Are the trucks warm?
Not really.
Oh,
Yesterday was chilly.
Yeah.
You can kind of close the cab, but you're in and out a lot.
You're in and out.
So
yeah.
Yesterday was a little chilly, and I imagine today will be too. I was a little worried. You're talking about the weather when I was coming in here. We're supposed to get, 3 to 6 today?
Supposedly 3 to 5 inches, maybe a little more than that, depending.
I hope not.
But it's supposed to be snowing right now, and at least here in the valley, in Marcy, I don't see any snow unless you do, Davey.
Do you have a different route every day?
No, I have a few different areas. I don't usually hit the same area every day.
I got to tell you something. I have video of a guy.
But I'm the new guy there, so keep that in mind.
I have video of and it was a FedEx guy. I have video of a guy, and he pulled up. Do FedEx sometimes not drive in their own vehicles? Or drive in
yes,
FedEx vehicles?
There are some.
Because this guy pulled up in a personal vehicle.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, my Ring camera alerts, and I hear, now, forget the Ring, I can hear him, and I have New York sash windows where there's a great buffer from our house to the street. You don't hear stuff outside.
Yeah, those are like noise-canceling windows.
They are. And all of a sudden I hear this guy yelling, like screaming into the phone at somebody as he's walking. Now, remember, there's no FedEx truck, though. He's driving in his own vehicle, and he's screaming into the phone, yelling at somebody. It almost sounded like he was yelling at somebody at work, like, I told you I can't go here because I'm over here, or something like that. He was screaming. I have it on video. And takes the package and whips it onto my porch. Yeah.
Did you say something to him?
No.
Oh,
I thought he'd kill me, to be honest with you. He did not, he looked like he was furious. Like, now, as it turns out, what was in the package was clothing. So it didn't, it wasn't going to damage anything. But still, it's not a good look when, right?
I agree.
And that's the other thing. You're on camera almost every time you walk up on somebody's porch.
Yeah, absolutely. That is, I've been, how would I want to say, surprised, I guess, a couple of times because some people have cameras that talk to you. All of a sudden you're walking up to someone's house and it's, hello, you are being recorded.
Yeah.
And you think you're about to have an alien encounter or something. Yeah, I'll admit that's not a good look. But, I guess if it was a T-shirt or something, I'm sure it didn't get damaged.
Rob, this morning, Trump, big winner. Primary is over. CNN and MSNBC didn't even cover his speech. Dem activists, not journalists, like 90% of the media. All right, Rob, I'm glad you're having a good day.
Good morning, Rob.
Good morning. I got to tell you something. I'm still a believer that Trump winning the primary, I don't. It doesn't. To me, I do not think it even matters how bad Biden is. I still believe that Trump is going to struggle winning because there's still such a huge anti-Trump movement out there. It's going to be very difficult for him to become president. In my opinion, we'll see what happens. Obviously, I've been wrong before, but we will see.
Yeah, and I have as well. But, I said this many, many months ago, and I don't know. I think I do feel a little differently about it now, that I thought that there was no chance that he could win. Both
DeSantis and Nikki Haley both beat Biden handily in polling right now. So, and I do think that any new candidate would. Republicans deserve a new candidate, for God's sakes. But I don't think that's going to happen. And, Rob, you may be right. This primary may be over. Even if, the only thing I could think that might be a possibility is if Nikki Haley decided, I'm going to run on the same ticket with DeSantis, that she would run as his VP, and that would be done early. To me, you might have at that point, you might have a shot. But when you think about it, together, the two of them only total about 40% last night in Iowa to Trump's 50%. So they still have 10% to make up. And the other thing that pollsters are saying about the makeup, Nikki Haley is doing very well with Republicans who do not want Trump. Whereas DeSantis is doing very well with Republicans who are, I'm with DeSantis, but if it's not DeSantis, I'll be with Trump. Right. So the belief is the majority, if DeSantis were to get out of the race, the majority of his voters would probably just go back to Trump. Or even if it was a quarter of them, it would mean that it would be unreachable for somebody like Nikki Haley.
So, I have another confession to make here. And I'm telling you, it blew my mind. Not paying attention to the political drama every day, no matter which side you're for.
Yeah.
That has been somewhat freeing in a bit because I think you kind of get tied down into what Trump's doing on a daily basis. You get caught up in, is what I should say, and what Biden, is doing or isn't doing, or. It's still some of the things he says still just
amazes me. Politics are brutal right now. Right?
It is, and you know what? I've enjoyed not being in the middle of that muck all the time.
Listen, I certainly understand that, Mike. If all Trump wants to talk about is his personal vendettas and the January 6th quote hostages, which is a total hijacking of that word. then he's going to have a hard time winning the election.
That's a perfect example
and
right
Mike
there.
says, and I am a Republican, lifelong Republican. So take it for what it is. I don't know where it all ends up going. What else in the news? We'll get into, these stories. I don't know if you've seen any of these stories on people going out on the ice, even this week, where temperatures are falling through the ice. Even this week, where temperatures are finally down and low, and we're going to see probably by the weekend sub-zero temperatures overnight. It's still going to take a while for that ice and that water to get cold enough. So I would only say, man, be careful if you're going to be out on the ice. Be very, very careful. And we will speak with Sheriff Rob Maciol a little later on this morning, and which will give us an update on a couple of different stories. There may be 3 or 4 stories out there where authorities have had to come out and help people who've fallen into the water on the ice.
Something else I think that's been lost with, I don't know if you'd say lost with technology. I'm trying to equate it to one of these things where, you have a cell phone so you don't remember people's numbers anymore. But I remember, like, growing up, the people who would go ice fishing, I'm assuming that's what they're doing, or skating or pond hockey, they knew what they were doing. From the sound, they could look, they would measure, they would know how deep the ice is. You got to be careful because there's only X number of inches of ice versus, when you get this many, you're great. I feel like people see a video on Instagram and they go, I think
I could do that.
Yeah. And they just go out there. They don't know what they're doing.
I think there's another area where I wonder, old Italian guys especially know how, and believe me, I may be ignoring the brilliant Polish. I may be ignoring the brilliant Irish out there, or the Brits, whatever. But there's something about old Italian guys who know how to pick mushrooms.
Yes.
And everybody else is about to die.
Yes.
Right? Because
everyone else is experimenting.
You don't know what you're picking out there, and you might think you do.
Yeah.
I get nervous buying mushrooms in the grocery store, thinking maybe some mushroom picker got confused one day and was smoking too much weed and picked the wrong mushroom. But the reality is you have to know what you're doing, whether it be on the ice or
picking mushrooms or whatever the case might be. And speaking of who knows what he picked because of what he smoked, it's one of these things, and you talked about this right after the law changed when it comes to marijuana, where if you'd go to New York City, you just smelled
everywhere. Yeah.
Being out and about in the community every day, you just smell weed everywhere.
It's
everywhere.
It's unbelievable. A couple of last night, the Emmy Awards were on, and I thought the Open. What is that program? The sitcom, is it Blacked or? It's the Black Family, and what is it? What's that program, Davey? The sitcom, is it Blacked or?
Who? The Anthony guy is the father.
The host last night of the Emmy Awards. All I can tell you,
Anderson.
Yeah, I think it was him.
He plays on the Black.
Anthony Anderson.
Anthony Anderson.
Yeah. I got to tell you, he brought his mother in. That was, I don't know what the reviews are saying today, but my wife was watching it, and I had it on in the background. That was an entertaining open to the Emmys last night. I thought he was really, really good. He had a new way of getting long-winded winners to wrap it up. So you know how they play music, and it's like that's the sign you better hurry up because we're going to cut your mic. He had a new way of solving that problem, and the answer was his mama. Here we go. Check it out.
Normally on award shows, we do what's called playoff music, which everyone tends to ignore. This year, I've got something that nobody can ignore. My mama. Tonight, my mama, she is going to be the Emmys playoff mama. Now, when you see my mama coming, just thank Jesus and your family and wrap it up. And I don't want nobody to get disrespectful with my mama because my mama is from the west side of Chicago and she can throw them hands. Shut up. That's enough. Mama. All right, you're supposed to be yelling at the other people, not at me, not in the middle of the monologue.
The time's up, baby. Cut to the chase.
All right. See what I mean?
At one point, he was talking about he was wearing, I don't know, it looked like a rubber suit or something. I walked in on it, so I don't know what was really going on. But he was talking about how he was so sweaty and it was going down into the cracks and crevices of his body. And she's like, all right, that's enough. We don't need to hear about the cracks in your body. It was very, very funny and refreshing for one of those shows, one of those award shows, to actually have a little entertainment at the kickoff.
Yeah,
but
nobody was offended by his mother, were they?
I don't think so. She was, and she would hold up a sign that said "Wrap it up" when people were going a little too long.
That's funny.
It was funny, and I guess it served the purpose. So, we mentioned funding bills, the latest on all of that, and will we be able to put a deal together that both Republicans and Democrats can work with to fund the government? Where do we stand here to begin Tuesday? Ryan Schmelz is on the story with Fox News Radio. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
So, what do we know going into today? Are we any better off today than we were yesterday?
Well, we'll see about that. The Senate is supposed to take a procedural vote on this short-term funding bill that would keep the government open past this Friday's deadline. So instead of having a deadline of January 19th for some government agencies and early February for others, that deadline would then be pushed back to March 1st and March 8th.
And you know, I wonder what changes if you're going to kick the can down a month or two. What changes then? You're still going to be in a heated presidential race. You're going to be in heated congressional races around the country. What changes then? Does it really give them time to put something together that gets us through this year?
Well, what's different from previous CRs that we've been under is that this time when they, in fact, kick the can down the road, they're going to be under an agreement where they know what the top-line spending numbers are for what the fiscal year 2024 budget's going to look like. So that would fund the government through the end of September. And Speaker Johnson and Leader Chuck Schumer have come to an agreement of a top-line spending of about $1.59 trillion. And, you know, a lot of this is because of the previous agreement that was negotiated between Speaker McCarthy as well as the White House. But, you know, this one is getting some pushback from some hardliners who would have liked to see some more conservative priorities for spending in there.
Yeah. Well, therein lies the problem. It's the extremes in both parties that cause that make the noise today, and really can hold their hostage party. We've seen it most recently, obviously, with Republicans.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is that you had a number of conservatives, like I just mentioned, who would have liked to have seen more spending cuts in there. But I remember talking to one member of Congress who was telling me, yes, would I have liked to have seen more things? And yes, do I have issues with this current agreement? Yes, I do. But I'm living in reality. And the reality of the situation is that we have a very slim majority in the House of Representatives. We do not control the Senate, and we do not control the White House. There is a limited amount of things that we can do on our priority list that otherwise would be able to do if we had more control of Congress and control of the White House.
Well, that's logic, though. I mean, where is that word used in Washington, for God's sakes? A logical response. And that is the issue, right? I mean, how do you fix this problem? If you're a hardliner on either side, how do you fix the problem? You make sure that your party is in the majority and has a significant majority in Congress and maybe holds the White House as well.
Yeah, and what was interesting is that you had a number of these hardliners who actually wanted to see Speaker Johnson back out of the deal. They were having meetings with Johnson behind closed doors, but then you also had a number of those who wouldn't be considered hardliners go and meet with Johnson too and essentially tell him, hey, you can't back out of this deal. This is going to create a really bad situation if you do that. And we even had a Democrat who was telling us too that, if he were to back out of this deal, no one's going to negotiate with Speaker Johnson in the future in good faith if he backs out of this one. So there is a lot of reasons for why Speaker Johnson ultimately decided to stick with the deal. He hasn't exactly, explained his whole reasoning in its entirety behind it. He did say that he heard a lot of different voices from his party on it, but decided to keep the current agreement as it is.
Yeah. One listener, Ryan, that's piping in here. Can you imagine the amount of dents there are in that can? It's being kicked down
Which can we talking about?
The can being kicked down the road.
Yeah, there's quite a number. Keep in mind this original budget that we're under right now was negotiated and passed in December of 2022. So here we are over a year later now, and we're still under that same funding level that was pretty much put in place while Speaker Pelosi was still the Speaker of the House.
Wow. That's just crazy when you think about it. All right, Ryan, as always, thank you so much. Go Bills. I hate to say that to you. I know you're looking at the Ravens, but at least your Ravens are playing this weekend. Here we go.
Exactly. Hey, I'm looking forward to a Bills-Ravens game at M&T Bank Stadium in 2 weeks. Let's make it happen.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Ryan Schmelz with Fox News Radio.
So Ryan Schmelz does a fantastic job, but that right there, I think, is an example. And the comment about kicking the can, how many dents does it have in it now? Stepping away and not paying attention to the interworkings of our political, and it's important. I'm not saying it's not important, but stepping away from that. So wait a minute. You mean to tell me that both sides are arguing again about a funding bill? People are saying things, accusing the other, making deals and backing out of it. Yeah, I don't miss that.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
I don't miss that.
In a little while, we're going to have somebody come in and talk about how schools aren't being funded properly. What is the other? There are about 5 or 6 other Groundhog Day issues that really won't change at all one bit. Let's see. How about Madonna? In concert. You know she's getting a little older. She's in her 60s, I think, now.
Is she really?
Yeah. Madonna made a big goof while doing a recent show in Toronto. I don't know if you can tell, but this is what she yelled out.
Are you ready, Boston?
Boston?
Are you ready, Boston?
Are you ready, Toronto?
Oh. She's 65 now.
Yeah, well, she actually, it's funny that somebody said the other day, wow, she looks really good for 65. And my answer to that is no. She looks like she's in too good of shape. She looks like she works out so much that she has that, I don't know, there's not an ounce of fat on her body. And you need a little bit of, a little something, don't you?
Yeah, how much work has she had done, do you think? She's got the big, some of the and this happens with some of the with males as well when they have too much work done. Their head almost takes like an alien shape, like
the head's large
and the cheeks jut out.
Yeah. The woman Thomas. What's Danny Thomas's daughter who does the
Marlo?
Man, you see her?
Yeah, she's terrible. She looks terrible.
I mean, there's been a lot of work done. You know who else has had a ton of work? It seems. Is Marie Osmond.
Oh, yeah.
And you see her pictures for Nutrisystem or whatever she's selling. I mean, some of these women, they just have a permanent smile that they can't get rid of.
It makes you wonder that if you presented them with what they look like today versus what you're going to look like in, 12 years, 30 years after all this work, is that what you want? Do you want to look like that?
Is that what you want?
I know you want to maintain those full lips, and you don't want the sags and wrinkles.
They'll tell you it's hard to be a woman, right? It's hard to be a woman because women are judged differently. Guys can age, and they're like, wow, it looks so mature. And whereas a woman, wow, she looks old.
Yeah.
But I feel like, when you get too thin, every wrinkle shows on your body and on your face.
Fortunately, I don't have to worry about
Valentine's Day is coming up. You might be thinking for your significant other a gold necklace. There is a gold necklace out there that's actually a choker, technically. They call it the Dak Prescott choker.
Here we go!
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
He got more votes than his Republican challengers in Iowa combined. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
So it's now off to New Hampshire, a great place. We won it last time.
That primary is a week from today. Former President Trump got 51% of the vote, winning the Iowa caucuses. Vivek Ramaswamy, who finished a distant fourth, dropped out of the race and endorsed Trump.
We're going to drill, baby, drill right away. Yeah. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to seal up the border.
The border crisis and the economy top issues for voters here as the campaigns now move on to New Hampshire, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
As Fox's Jeff Manasi in Des Moines. DeSantis finished second with 21%. Nikki Haley was third, 2 points back, but insists with better poll numbers than DeSantis in New Hampshire and South Carolina.
Iowa made this Republican primary a two-person race.
That was the coldest caucus night ever in Iowa. 150 million Americans now face frigid wind chill advisories or warnings. Travel is also challenging. More than 1,200 flights are canceled the day after over 3,000 were grounded. There's a search at sea off the coast of Somalia for Americans who went missing intercepting a shipment of weapons headed to the Iran-backed Houthi militants who've been attacking ships.
We're told Iranian-made ballistic missile and cruise missile components were seized in last week's mission. 2 Navy SEALs involved in the operation are still missing. One fell off a ladder trying to board the suspicious boat. The other jumped into the water in a rescue attempt.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Meanwhile, Iran has gone on the attack in Iraq and Syria, targeting an Israeli intel site and ISIS facilities. TV's best were honored on TV last night. Succession and The Bear each won 6 Emmys, including Best Drama and Comedy. And a legendary singer won.
And the Emmy goes to Elton John live. Farewell from Dodger Stadium.
Elton John's concert award makes him just the 19th person to win an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Progressive presents 10 things on a plumber's to-do list that are harder than getting a small business insurance quote. Waking up for 5 a.m. plumbing disasters, finding out why water is pouring from the ceiling while telling a customer to leave the room, replacing a pipe in a home from the 1800s, then dealing with invoices or your awkward apprentice or that really weird smell, and then there's breathing and eating and, of course, clogs. But the easiest thing on any small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you could save on the business insurance that's right for you. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
Good morning. It's 7:03 WIBX 950 AM 106.9 FM. I'm Megan Stone. A fire broke out on Pine Bush Road in German Flats on Monday. First responders were called to the scene around 3:30 p.m. following reports of a fire that could be seen for miles. The building, which is said to be a pole barn, was engulfed in flames. Authorities are investigating the blaze and are trying to determine what caused it. There have been no reports about the building's condition, nor if there were any injuries at this time. Rome police said they are awaiting results on a potentially rabid fox that attacked 3 people over the weekend. Authorities say the fox had been on the loose before a private resident dispatched it on Monday. The remains have since been sent to a lab for rabies testing, and results could be returned as early as today. The 3 people who were attacked by the fox went through treatment, but anyone who may have had direct contact with the wild animal are strongly urged to seek medical attention. The New York Blood Center is trying to combat its latest blood shortage. Organizers say they are in a critical emergency and need donors who are O negative and O positive. The blood drive was held outside the South County Library in Bellport last week, where more than 50 people signed up to donate blood. The Blood Center said 1 pint of blood can save lives, and the American Red Cross say there is a critical blood shortage across America, with blood donations reaching a 20-year low, with 40% less donations happening in 2023. The NFL is once again breaking viewership records. Saturday's playoff game between the Kansas City Chiefs and Miami Dolphins is now the most streamed live event in U.S. history. The Super Wildcard Weekend matchup was shown exclusively on NBC Universal's Peacock streaming service, and Nielsen reports 23 million total viewers watched the Chiefs punch their ticket to the divisional round. The game also helped break the record for the most internet usage ever in the country on a single date. With cold weather coming in, let's check your Weather Center forecast with meteorologist Craig Flint.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, cloudy, cold, breezy at times, light snow likely, 2 to 4 inches of new snow for most. a high of 24. Tonight, mostly cloudy, scattered snow showers, continued very cold, a low near 10. And tomorrow, breezy, cold, partly sunny locally, lake effect snow north, high near 20, wind chills in the single digits to near 0. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
An update from Bill. The snow is heavy in New Hartford, so please drive carefully, especially with colder conditions. That means you could hit icy patches on the road. Motorists are strongly advised to slow down and increase their following distance to avoid accidents. Now taking a look at your sports headlines, talking about the NFL. The divisional round matchups in the NFL playoffs have been set following the conclusion of Monday's wildcard games. The Bills cruised to a 31-17 win over the Steelers. Buffalo will host the defending champions Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. Meanwhile, the Bucks crushed the Eagles 32-9. We have someone in the office, Bill, Nicole, who is an Eagles fan. I bet you she is dragging her heels today.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day.
So sad.
Yeah.
So sad. Too bad. Go Bills. And the Bucks battle the Lions in Detroit Sunday afternoon. So after earning the first round bye in the AFC, the top-seeded Ravens square off against the Houston Texans in Baltimore, and the San Francisco 49ers, who earned the number 1 seed in the NFC, will host the Green Bay Packers on Saturday night. This weekend looks to be a lot of good matchups. And also, Bill Belichick, the Falcons have completed an interview with the greatest head coach of all time, which is what Patriots fans say. The team announced on Monday that they've met with Belichick about their open head coaching position, and also Jim Harbaugh could be returning to the NFL sideline, with the Los Angeles Chargers announcing they completed an interview with the current Michigan head coach on Monday. WIBX 950 AM, 106.9 FM. It's 7:07. I'm Megan Stone.
A couple things on all of this. I would expect that Jerry Jones makes a move. Would you say today is the day or tomorrow?
Well, it's funny you ask. You talking about the head coach?
Yeah.
That he's going to get let go. I mean, that was embarrassing.
I do not, but I don't think it warrants getting rid. He's been very successful.
I agree. I mean, they were embarrassed yesterday.
But I think he's done. I don't think Jerry Jones seems to me like one of these very wealthy narcissists who you don't do that to me.
I wanted to, my little, here we go.
Yeah.
You know who I think the biggest underperformer is of the Dallas Cowboys is Jerry Jones. I mean, year after year after year after year. If he would just fire his GM, I think the team would be a lot better off. But he's not going to do that.
Yeah. We'll see what happens there. And Harbaugh probably making his way back up. And on the Bills, I've been very careful this year. We went through a very, very difficult stretch. There was a chance, 6 weeks ago, the chance of the Bills making the Super Bowl. They had it listed at 5%. And then it was just a little bit more making their way into the playoffs. So, it's a week-by-week thing, and you're going up against – I realize it's home, but you're going up against Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, who have ended your season 2 years in a row.
And you know what's funny is...
Davey, you want to add to that?
They're going to beat them.
I think they are, too. I do.
You could argue.
I'm not playing, let's go, Buffalo. I'm not playing any of that right now.
The Chiefs, they were always, lethal, and obviously that one overtime game there showed
that was terrible.
How lethal the offense was. But you could argue their defense might be better now than their offense is.
They can't, here's the thing, dude. All of a sudden they start holding onto the ball. I mean, even last week against the Dolphins, there were drop passes. I get it. It was very, very cold. But it ain't going to be pretty in Buffalo this weekend. It's going to be colder in Buffalo this weekend.
A quick thought on that. I was surprised to see, and I know they got 3 feet of snow, and you have concerns about fans going to the game and getting in accidents or getting stuck. So they moved the game, obviously, to Monday. But I almost thought that, look, I know it's football, and they don't usually cancel for weather unless you're getting 3 feet of snow, but 30 below, having the fans out in an open field like that?
Terrible.
I thought to myself,
and even the players. I mean, how do you not get frostbitten?
Right.
In that weather. Now, the reason for the Buffalo change was there was an emergency order that prevented cars from being on the road. So fans would not have been legally allowed to drive to the stadium. nor would really players, is what they were saying.
Right.
So they worried about Pittsburgh getting in, so they made the move. But it's interesting. The governor made that move with the NFL, and came out the next day and said, "Listen, if it's bad on Monday, the game is going on. Snow, blizzard conditions or not, the game will go on." But I have no confidence that the Bills would have played all that well in the snow. I mean, the Steelers have played in snow too. So
yeah.
And Josh Allen, last time he played in a really bad snowstorm, didn't look all that great. So I will take the move to Monday.
Yeah, it worked out.
Big victory.
I am officially right now a Bills fan, certainly with the Giants season being over. And
Let's
go Buffalo.
Here's our umpire, Sal. Sal, good morning.
Here we go. What's up, Sal?
No, I called in. Jeff, you know I'm a Cowboys fan. So
I know.
You guys talked about coaching changes and stuff. Bill, you got any experience, head coach? Maybe you could take over Cowboys next year?
Listen, I to be honest, there's a lot of talent there. It shouldn't take much, right? Although
we've been going through this for 29 years, and I
know.
just cannot wrap my head around it. No matter who they brought in as coach. And listen, I'm not going to slam McCarthy here. 12-5 is great for 3 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
What good is it? You lose every year in the wild card. I mean, I'm just flabbergasted. Like I said, this has been going on for 29 years. It's ridiculous. And you said it. I mean, me and the guys talk about it all the time. It's the talent that this team has had on this team for the last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and doing absolutely nothing with it. Nothing with it. Mind-boggling.
You know, it's funny, but imagine being, the Bills 4 years in a row to the Super Bowl. And what good is getting to the Super Bowl when you can't win the game? And
I agree.
I mean, and there are just so many of those stories out there where you get so close and you just can't close the door. It is, but man, I just all I can tell you though is I had no confidence in the Cowboys. I had no confidence in the Eagles at all.
No, listen, I'm a Cowboy fan. I kept telling the guys when they were 11-5, they're the worst 11-5 team you'll ever see.
Yeah,
they didn't beat anybody good this year.
Yep.
Their defense showed up against bad teams.
Right.
So they got exposed Sunday with Green Bay and Love.
Yeah, and you mentioned the defense. I mean, my goodness, it was like they had 9 guys on the field. Every pass that was completed was wide open.
Yeah. Listen,
you got to clear house. Simply clear house.
Right.
Everybody's saying Belichick, and can you imagine Belichick and Jerry Jones? Those two together.
No. Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yep. That would be very, very bad.
Jerry's the problem. Jerry wants to know why they haven't been winning. Listen, I give Jerry credit. I think he's been a pretty good GM over the years. He's brought some very talented players, made some good trades, draft picks, but he just needs to let stuff go, bring a general manager in there to run the show, but he just doesn't do it. He won't do it.
That's Dak's new call. Let it go.
I want to bring this comment in. This is Big Honey. He says it's disgusting how everyone coddles the Bills. I got to tell you, I don't know what, Big Honey, I don't know what you're talking about. Because I have to tell you, where the Bills are right now, going into that game with Dallas on Sunday, all they were talking about is Dak Prescott is the MVP. Dak Prescott and Lamar Jackson, MVP. Nobody talks about Josh Allen. No one is talking about the Bills this year as being the team. And, you got to at some point start to take them seriously. But I don't know. Are we coddling the Bills?
No.
I don't feel that.
I feel like around here there's so many Bills fans, so maybe
it gets whiny, and the minute the Bills start doing well, they start bragging. Obnoxious fans. I believe the Bills fans are probably obnoxious, but
guys, we've been watching football all our lives. Have you ever watched a game where the quarterback had to check down on just about every single pass attempt? Dak Prescott had to check down almost on every single pass attempt Sunday.
Yeah.
Nobody was open. No receiver was open the entire game.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like it.
It was a rough one. There's no doubt. Sal,
here's what I'm hoping for.
Yes, sir.
If Dallas is eliminated now, I hope it's Buffalo and Detroit in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I'm a big Dan Campbell fan. He turned that program around. He's a blue-collar guy. I mean, he played for Dallas years ago. That's not why I'm rooting for him. I think it would be a great Super Bowl, Detroit and Buffalo. I really do.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I am telling you, San Francisco is going to underestimate the Packers this weekend. I'm just saying. I do. And I hope so, really, really badly.
Before we go, Jeff, don't forget our umpire meeting on Sunday.
Coming up on
thank
Sunday.
you, Sal. It's good to hear from you, man. I'll see you Sunday.
Just before you know it, we'll be playing baseball. It's coming. So. All right,
It's
Sal.
coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, man.
Take care.
Kathy in Rome. Hi, Kathy. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, it was wonderful to hear Jeff this morning.
Good morning.
What a nice surprise.
Well, thank you, Kathy. It's good to hear you this morning.
Maybe you will grace us with your presence once in a while, at least.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll stop in. It's funny. We were just talking about this the other day. I don't work too far from here, and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes maybe I'll just pull in the parking lot and walk right in.
Absolutely welcome. And here's the other part of this that's interesting is it's a lot more fun when you don't have to show up.
Yeah.
To show up. I can tell you that.
Too bad you're not here in Rome, Jeff. I could have seen you if you were on my route.
Well, you never know.
Right.
That would have been nice. Well, my reasoning for calling is,
okay,
besides,
all right.
There's a couple of Michigan State players on Detroit, so I guess I'll have to cheer on Detroit.
Okay, all right.
I'm asking is, what do you consider a good or a great, NFL team? Overall, when you look at everything. Now, my husband, he goes with the Dolphins for being the only team to be undefeated.
Right.
So what is everybody's reasoning? What do they come up with for a certain team to be the greatest? And I'll take a listen.
All right, sounds good. I'll hang up and I'll let Jeff answer that because I'm not a good person to answer that question. Just because I'm more of a fan of a team than I am of the sport.
So,
does that make sense?
Yes.
The question is, what makes the great team, the greatest teams? It's going to be hard to not look at. I would think some of the old 49ers teams with Montana, or some of the years with Tom Brady as being the greatest team of all time.
Yeah, I guess everybody has their own.
You got to get it done, don't you? To be the greatest team, you have to go all the way. You have to find a way to go all the way.
I don't know exactly what the definition is, and I couldn't even give you a team. It's amazing how much the league has changed today. I mean, if you look at the teams that played today versus, those 49er teams you talk about, it's just a completely different game, and what you can do on offense, and then the whole
what you can do
thing.
On defense, what you can do to
what
a
you
quarterback,
can't do on defense,
right?
Yeah.
It's a completely different game. You're absolutely right. All right, Big Honey, you guys would probably know this. What team besides the Bills has let down their fans and their community more in the NFL? More than the Bills.
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Well, the Bills got there 4 times. They just didn't. They just didn't win. It would have to be the New York Mets. Oh, it's got to be a football team. Sorry.
I thought that's what he said. Yeah, we're good at letting people down. Is that his? Does he have an answer?
We'd like your answer, Big Honey. I'd like to know what the answer is. Lance, good morning. Just woke up and thought I was watching an old episode of Welcome Back, Jeff. Please disagree with Bill on a topic for old time's sake. I missed that part of the show.
Good morning, Lance. And I miss so much Lance and who was it? Big Honey. Gosh, it's just amazing, some of the people and the personalities, and that's why I immediately started laughing when Big Honey chimed in. He just had to be critical of something about us on the show.
Yes,
whether it was the Bills or something else.
He usually does it in a very nice way.
Not
everybody does that. John in Deerfield, I agree with you, Jeff, about the Instagram ice fishing guys. You need to follow safety protocols and know the ice thickness as you go. There is some safe ice in the Adirondacks. But even those places I would be careful of right now because it's been warm.
I mean, are you kidding me? It was 40 degrees last week, wasn't it? Didn't we? When we got all that snow, 2 days later, it was all gone.
Fred, what's the problem with the overnight programming? I don't know. They're working on it. And I just have to say, because we were off the air for a while overnight, here's what I'm going to say. And, Jeff, you're going to be shocked by this. We are in the middle of a major transformation. All in the next 3 months, all of the studios here on River Road are going to be gutted completely. All of the current equipment is going to be taken out and completely replaced. In fact, this remember I've always complained about this blonde color countertop. Gone. They're getting rid of it. In fact, they're cutting that off basically in half, and it's going to be kind of a half moon type situation. So you, the guests, everybody, and feet will be facing each other.
Yeah,
which I love.
That's great.
That and all new boards, all new equipment, all new everything coming. Now, with that said, it's going to be new, and I would suggest that it's going to be touch and go, but it is going to be touch and go for the next few weeks as we go through this process.
Oh, it's that soon.
Oh, it's going to begin. In fact, during one of the weeks, during the week that they feel like they'll be able to do IBX in about a week. During the week, we will be right, because normally we hear this stuff.
Yeah,
and it not only does it take a while to happen, but it never happens.
This is like we should all go to Vegas sometime. Yeah, we will.
We will.
Someday
We're
we
gonna
will.
do it. We're gonna do it. I've heard some cheap flights out there.
This is real.
This is happening within the next 2 weeks. And while they're working on the IBX studio, we're taking the show out of the building. We'll most likely be mostly at my home studio. And then we may hit a couple of locations out on the road as well.
That's tremendous.
Because they want us out of the building in order to redo the studio. But it's going to be a complete redo. I am extremely excited about it. We're actually bringing in a consultant, Dr. Kent Hall, who's going to help us. Anybody going through new digs, there's some bumps in the road. So we'll probably have those. Richard, this morning, earlier today, I just want you to hear his comment. This is what I woke up to this morning. Richard, another day, another adventure with your amateur show. I guess you're off the air today. Every day it's something else. So
why? What happened?
It was off the air overnight. We were up and down overnight. So, Richard, I'm telling you, it is about to get better, but it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. That's all I can tell you.
By the way, I thought of Richard the other day, and he was correct about one thing. I did write down that prediction, and it was that I had taken the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC East. I think he took the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
No, he took the Jets and the Dolphins to finish second.
Yep.
But he was absolutely spot on about those Detroit Lions.
He was, and midway through the season, he completely changed his tune on the Bills.
Oh, yeah?
In fact, it was 6 weeks ago he sent me a message and said, I think the Bills are going to turn things around. Watch them. I think they could go all the way. That was Richard. And, Richard, this morning it's snowing hard in New Hartford right now. I expect 4 to 8 inches by 4 p.m. Then we have a lake effect snow warning going into effect after 6 p.m., 1 to 2 inches per hour possible. We could end up with a lot of snow. So,
oh, boy.
That's Richard. Davey, what's the one thing I haven't done a good job with this morning?
Commercials.
Okay, let's take a break. 7:23, Dr. Kent Hall coming right up at WIBX.
Ready for a smoother, safer ride? Look to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. Tallman's and their professional staff is there for answers, advice, and quality tires at a great price. And right now, Tallman's, when you purchase 4 Summit tires, you'll get installation, mounting, and balancing absolutely free. Summit tires are great quality and your best value in Central New York. And free installation when you purchase 4 tires is an amazing deal. Don't miss out. This offer ends January 31st, 2024. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Roman Herkimer, online at tallmanstire.com.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope, and they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Income may be subject to state, local, or alternative minimum tax. Did you know that municipal bonds are a way for investors to support civil projects while earning federally tax-free income? The Erie Canal, which led to the expansion of the United States into the Midwest in the 1800s, was financed with municipal bonds. Are you looking to bridge the gap between the income of your working years and the income needed in retirement? Municipal bonds might provide the solution you're looking for. Henyon & Walsh is a leading specialist in tax-free municipal bonds and has provided investors with quality service and personal attention since 1990. Call now to receive their informative bond guide absolutely free. Dial 1-800-761-9761 to learn how to earn retirement income while keeping your taxes at bay. Just dial 1-800-761-9761 for a copy of their informative bond guide for free. No cost, no obligation. 1-800-761-9761. Henyon & Walsh Inc., member of FINRA and SIPC.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When Freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
A couple more comments here that I didn't get to. Wayne says, with Richard, if you spit out 5 predictions, one may be right. Okay.
Good morning.
And in Rome says the Vikings. So Big Honey asks, what team out there has let down their fans more than the Buffalo Bills? Ann says it is the Vikings. She said, my guy Fran Tarkington lost 3, 74, 75, and 77. So Big Honey asked the question, what team has let down its fans more than the Buffalo Bills? And he
Browns?
said, no. He said the answer is nobody.
Yeah.
Probably right.
Was it the Browns who left in the middle of the night? No, that was the Colts, wasn't it? It was the Baltimore Colts.
Fred,
and then the Browns actually did
responding.
leave Cleveland.
Lance and Lee, the red hat is a nice touch for the news. Okay, Lance, that's freaking funny. That's funny. All right, I think I've got all of these comments for the most part out of the way. You can always call at 315-736-0186. A few more. Welcome back, Jeff, even if for just one day. That is a comment. Wow, Jeff is back. Glad to see you. Please change the camera angle back. We can't see Bill or Jeff. That's because I left it over there. I'm sorry. We can only do so much. And I have by the way, I have a new TV solution coming as well. It's going to change everything.
Well, I see you've
also.
upgraded there. That looks nice.
Doesn't it look
your
nice?
monitor, yeah.
But every once in a while, I forget and leave a camera focused on you or Andrew or something. All right, let's go to Dr. Kent Hall from Wynn Hospital. Dr. Hall, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning? Good morning.
Doing well. Actually, today, despite the fact that I hate to make this about me, but despite the fact that I did not sleep again last night, since COVID, everything is all messed up with my sleeping.
Oh, did you get it again?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Christmas to after, yeah, it was like 9 days. Doc, I am having that the COVID fatigue, like worse than I've had it any other time that I've had COVID. It's like brutal this time.
Yeah, so, one of the things that you have to be concerned about, and I don't want to jinx you or anything, but one of the things that you have to be concerned about, if you're having difficulty sleeping and you're having fatigue, those are symptoms of long COVID. And, it's too early to say that that's what it is, but it is something that you should be aware of. So don't expect, and really the best thing that you can do, number one, is don't expect a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
But just take care of yourself and get as much rest as you can, because your body, and in this case your neurologic system, your brain, really needs to recuperate, and that unfortunately just takes time.
So along with the fatigue, there's also a difficulty sleeping at night. I guess I didn't know that was the case, but I've certainly experienced it since I was stuck in the basement.
Yeah, it's sleep disturbance. So it may, and that can manifest itself in different ways. Difficulty in falling asleep, difficulty in staying asleep, restless sleep, where you just don't, where you wake up and you feel as tired as when you went to bed.
Yeah.
Or not being able to sleep. I mean, all of those are. It's basically sleep disturbance as kind of a bucket term.
Yeah.
But it can be different things for different people.
And it is the type of when we talk about. Because I realize as I'm talking about this, there's probably somebody listening and like, give me a break. So you're tired. We're all tired. But this is a fatigue that I described it to my wife the other night as, because remember, my wife has Sjogren's syndrome and the other one, and with those she gets massive fatigue where she has to stop what she's doing and lay down. And this is the same type of thing where you almost feel it. I feel it in my stomach. And then it's like you're just, that if you do not lay down and at least sleep for a little bit, that you feel like you're just going to pass out.
Yeah. So again, people don't know we scientists, medical, physicians don't fully understand, this entity. We're getting some better knowledge of it, but we don't understand the pathophysiology or the underlying disruption to a person's anatomy and physiology. We do know that it seems to affect not the brain cells themselves, but the cells that actually encase the brain cells and supply nutrients to them, and that is similar to what happens with some autoimmune diseases. So it's not too surprising that with your wife having Sjogren's and that being an autoimmune disease, that there could be similar symptoms with it.
Yeah, it is. The normal. I'm always up. It seems I stay up till midnight. I'm up at 4, and that's just how I've always operated. But as you get older, you might, you feel like you might need a nap during the day. For me, I can lay down for 15 minutes, get back up, and I am refreshed. That is not the case with this current fatigue. I could sleep for 3 hours and get up and want to go back to bed after 3 hours. So it's kind of it's very, very unique and seems to be unique to COVID. So go figure. It is what it is. And then people are worried about dealing with flu, and they're dealing with RSV.
I know, it's like everything
seems to be everywhere, Doc.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. So, as it relates to COVID, usually last week would have been our peak for COVID. At least if you go back the last 3 years, because it's usually the second week in January that the holiday effects reach their maximum.
Yep. Right.
And so we have seen a slight decrease in the number of people hospitalized with COVID in the Wynn Hospital this year. Over the last 5 to 7 days. The good thing that I would say, and this is the light at the end of the tunnel, it relates to flu. So looking at the graph for New York State and how and the number of positive flu tests over the year, it was going up very significantly. Mm-hmm. But the last couple weeks, it's actually started to plateau and come down somewhat. So, knock wood, that will actually continue to occur, and we may have reached the peak of the flu season, and we're starting to ebb on that. There can be what we call a double hump to it, so we don't know for sure.
Okay.
RSV has been the one that's been kind of hanging on, and we continue to have 3, 4, 5 patients, not just kids. In fact, the majority of them are adults in the Wynn Hospital because of RSV infection.
So, and then I want to do one more thing about the vaccines. And I know there are plenty of stories out there where people say, I wouldn't take these vaccines. I know a lot of people who have and do it religiously and are having great success with these vaccines. Your stance on the current vaccines, if I'm correct, is to get these vaccines.
Yes, absolutely. So these vaccines, while they're not an exact match for the JN1, which is the major variant that is circulating now, they are based off of an Omicron variant that led to JN1, and therefore they do provide good, not perfect, but good protection. And even if you get infected with COVID, you will end up with a less severe disease than or a less severe condition than what you might have had if you don't have the vaccine.
Okay, all right, Doc, we appreciate it. You're halfway through the month, your final month.
Yeah. Hey, may I offer something on the football team that has disappointed its fans the most?
Yes.
So, having lived in the city for 14 years, my vote would be the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the Jets fans could probably make a bid for that too. I mean, that is just a perpetually disappointing team.
Yeah. Speaking of the Bengals, they put the Bengals-Chiefs game on Sunday when the Bills game was moved, and it was a repeat. I'd never seen anything like that. But on CBS, that was pretty interesting. All right, good submission there, Doc. We appreciate it. We'll speak again next week. Thank you.
Sounds good, everybody. Hey, have a great day, and be careful with this snow, so please be safe.
Yep, thanks so much.
Take care.
We're looking at 3 to 5 inches, they say. There could be some lake effect snow coming in later on. There are some areas they are getting snow right now. Davey, you're seeing it, right?
Yeah, I just checked the camera out back, and it's snowing now.
It's snowing here as well.
Here now, too. Oh, great.
So, be aware. It's listen, it's wintertime. What are we going to do? It is what it is. Let's do our free money question of the day. It's a chance for you to win from the Hobeika Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobeika. I spoke with Joe yesterday. He said, you guys have been really irresponsible as of late. And I'm like, well, I don't know what that means. He said, you know exactly what that means.
I've been picking the amounts.
You have been. What amount are you going with today?
Let's go with $100.
$100 today. Yeah, he really is. He's bullying you. I think Hobeika is. I really do. $100 on the list today. Your chance to win a C note. We'll take caller number
6.
Sixth caller through the lines right now. 315-736-0186. After that, Congressman Brandon Williams coming up at WIBX.
Have you ever wanted to learn how to make jewelry? How about learning how to design animations or create pottery? This year, explore your future in art with Munson. Munson in downtown Utica offers courses for artists of all ages, interests, and abilities. They also feature art appreciation classes for people more interested in learning than creating. Classes for the winter-spring semester begin in January. So register now at munson.art. That's munson.art.
At Mattress Express, get a queen flex head bed with adjustable base and a set of sheets for $14.99. Qualified buyers get no money down and up to 60 months to pay. A flex head bed is where each head goes up and down independently, but it's still one solid mattress. See store for details.
Do you miss the simplicity and reliability of a landline?
With a landline service, conversations were never cut off because your internet stopped working.
Your grandkids couldn't lose your home phone on some playground.
Now landlines are back and better than ever with Community Phone. Community Phone offers home phone service starting at just $39 a month. And today, get 50% off your first month when you call 1-866-348-3867. With Community Phone, there are no contracts, no internet needed, no complicated wiring. A classic landline, but with the latest upgrades like caller ID, voicemail, spam call blocking, unlimited nationwide calls, and more. And the phone works even if the power goes out. You can even keep your own phone number or get a new one. You can set up your home phone service with Community Phone in 30 seconds, all by yourself. Today, get 50% off your first month when you call 1-866-348-3867. Call 1-866-348-3867 today to get 50% off. 1-866-348-3867.
Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, DebtBlue is here for you. With DebtBlue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved.
I'm just living sky high right now. So I'm very thankful for it, and the team at DebtBlue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
What I'm about to share is something we don't talk about often enough, so I'm just going to say it. We apply deodorant to our armpits every day. It's a part of the routine, right? So why do we put up with odors on other parts of our body between showers? It's time you discovered Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. I tried it, and I noticed a difference right away, everywhere. Lumi was developed by an OBGYN. It's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, and that reassurance is worth every penny. Lumi has over 300,000 five-star reviews, and a 60-day money-back guarantee means you can try Lumi risk-free. Give Lumi Whole Body Deodorant a try and start controlling your body odor better, everywhere.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code RISKFREE and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack and ships free with code RISKFREE. LUMEdeodorant.com, code RISKFREE, and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code RISKFREE.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, I believe Brandon Williams is calling us, I think. All right, Andrew's off for a couple of days. We bring in a guest host each day, and we're really happy to say that our guest host this morning is none other than Jeff Manasi.
Good morning, good morning. How are you, Bill?
Good morning. And
I missed being here. I miss this show so much. And I'm getting a bunch of messages, so I want to say thank you and good morning to everybody.
Gary is in Rome. Good morning, Gary.
Morning, Bill.
You ready to go here? It's worth $100 this morning. This
right.
I'm looking at this question. It's a tough one. So you're going to have to just take a guess on this, but you might know the answer.
All right.
What's your background, Gary?
Insurance.
Insurance. Yeah, you don't have a chance. This is terrible. I don't know. You never know. You never know. All right. Here is your question. You have 7 seconds to answer. And if you don't know, you know the deal. Just pop in whatever pops in your head. Okay. The Emmys were last night. The name Emmy is named after what? Ready, go.
You're absolutely right. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Holy crap. So usually Monaski will take a wild guess and come up with the answer. So you should start playing this contest.
Is it movie?
Well, remember, Emmys is TV.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea.
And it's a 75th annual last night, which I thought the guy that hosted Anderson, what's his name?
Anderson.
Anthony Anderson. I thought he was really good, and his mom was a part of it. I thought it was a good open. The Emmys, named after a TV camera tube. I would have accepted TV camera. The camera tube is called an Emmy.
Oh, really?
So when they needed an award, they wanted to call the awards the Emmy.
Now we know.
Holy crap, that was a tough one. Okay,
That is a good question.
Listen, am I correct in saying, Davey, that the Comets are home tomorrow night? Is that correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They last night.
And they did lose last night.
Yesterday afternoon to Syracuse.
Yesterday afternoon of the Martin Luther King Day. All right, we're going to give you the all-in-one food and fun card from Aquavino, $25 gift card. It's Aquavino, Babes, 72 Tavern and Grill, Taylor and the Cook, cookies and the Adirondack Bank Center concession stands. We'll also give you a pair of tickets for tomorrow night at the Comets game at the Adirondack Bank Center. If you can use them, work that out with Davey. Gary, stand by and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Bill.
All right.
Have a good day, guys.
Thanks so
Take
much.
care.
It's the only program in the world where you win more, honestly, if you lose than you do if you win. Right? So I don't know what's going on with Brandon Williams. And I'm just going to move forward because I don't know.
Can I just a quick little sidebar here? I've noticed something that I never noticed before, and obviously, again, it's because of what I'm doing now and because I'm walking up to people's homes. And I'm not singling out an area. This is just I've worked in this area more than any other area. There's a couple of parts of Rome that I'm often in. Bill, I cannot believe. And now I thought this the first and second week of December. I was stunned the week of Christmas that it was still going on. And I can tell you, I saw it as recently as yesterday, multiple places. Some people don't get rid of their Halloween pumpkin.
They just leave it out?
I mean, when I say dozens, I'm not exaggerating. Dozens of locations that I've been to. And obviously, by this point, it's completely rotted.
If it was only a couple, I would think like, well,
that person's,
maybe they got COVID or something happened in the family. It's hard for them to get out.
Yeah, maybe that person in their fridge has, last month's pizza and wing leftovers tucked in the back. I can't tell you how many people still have. And again, they're virtually disintegrated. They're mashed and messy.
If they're waiting for it to freeze so they can lift it up, because once it gets too old, you can't even lift the thing up.
Well, and I've even thought to myself,
you got to get a shovel.
How do you shovel your stairs and leave that there?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? In Rome, do they? I just know in Utica, you could kind of put it out with your garbage like at the curb, and they would collect it.
It's good luck. Apparently, it's good luck to leave your pumpkin on your porch until it rots and disintegrates to nothing.
I've never seen anything like it. Do they not do a pickup in Rome? Or it just struck me as so odd. And to now that we're almost 3 weeks into January, still seeing pumpkins on people's porches again, which are all rotten and smashed.
I was told,
blows my mind.
When we went on a trip, I was told that if you leave your pumpkin on your porch long enough, you start growing truffles. Let me check with the congressman and see if that's true. Congressman Brandon Williams, good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to go check my front porch and see if I got
Yeah. I hate to say, but I think it's just, a little laziness going on. It's like, get the hell out there and clean up your porch.
It's so many people, though. I can't believe how many people. And even, I mentioned Rome, but even Whitesboro and Yorkville, I work that area sometimes.
Yeah.
Get rid of those things.
I go door to door knocking, and a lot of people don't go in and out of their house through their front door.
That is
and
true.
Honestly, it looks like people don't ever go through their front door. So you got to figure out how do you knock on the door and not, be too creepy. And so I think maybe people put it out on the front porch, but they just don't ever, go that way.
That's a very good point, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And the other thing is about your home. This is just the way it is. I don't know what it is about us humans, but you could have like a nick in the wall or a hole in the wall or something that's happened in your home, and you see it, you walk by it every single day. All of a sudden, it becomes normal, and you don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
Yet other people come into your home and you're like, wow, these people don't take care of their house. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it becomes part of the furniture.
It becomes wallpaper almost.
Yeah.
But that's a very good point about people not going through their front door. And I think that happens. Yeah. I'm worried about
that's a good lead in, Bill. Sometimes you just walk by the Speaker of the House and you vacate him, and sometimes you don't, and sometimes you shut down the government, and sometimes you don't, and it becomes normal.
It becomes normal.
And I know that's dark humor there, but it is. You can't normalize these kinds of things that we're living in. We've got to change what we're doing in Congress and our pumpkins and our front porch. Come on, folks.
I almost feel like we totally led you into this perfectly, but it's a great analogy. I mean, and why are we continuing to kick the can down the road here? At some point,
which can do you mean? I mean,
You're
honestly,
right.
there's so many
I know.
cans. Which one?
You're
which
right.
one bothers you?
You're right. I mean, there are many. There are many. I mean, the immigration situation, the southern border, another great example where you know, and listen, I know I always try to be fair and show both sides that are responsible in some way, but this is a great example. This southern border problem goes back decades, and we just never seem to want to fix it. I don't understand it.
Well, it is a political football, and you know what's interesting is over, at least in my lifetime, everybody's kind of switched sides. Right?
Yeah.
It used to be that the Republicans were like, well, you know, we want cheap labor, quite honestly, and so they were always lax. And then, you know, the Democrats were like, you know, it's not right, and it harms, you know, often union workers and, you know, hourly wage workers. And now it's completely flipped.
Yeah.
And, you know, you see Kathy Hochul say, well, we really want, you know, the service industries, our hotels need these people. And I'm like, really? Am I hearing that? And the Republicans are crying for the border to be closed. And so the script is flipped, and I think that just is an indication of our politics, frankly.
Congressman, I would say for you, being a military person, you know, you're out in a submarine, and all of a sudden there's a problem. What do you do when there's a problem? You fix it.
Well, we don't have immigration problems.
That's true.
I can tell you that.
That's a
There's
very
nobody
good
trying
point.
to get in there.
Yeah, that is true.
Sorry.
And by the way, I don't know how in the world I find myself getting a little claustrophobic in an elevator. We had taken a tour of a submarine. I don't know how you guys and women do that, and you go down and you spend weeks upon weeks in this tiny vessel. Everybody on top of everybody else. I don't know how you guys do it.
Well, that actually, if you want a real answer to that, if you're claustrophobic, you're claustrophobic. And I only saw one example of that on a submarine. You know, we closed the hatches before we went to sea, and one kid in my division just froze.
Wow.
Like literally he couldn't move and he couldn't speak, quite literally. And he was on an aircraft carrier later that day. Great kid.
Yeah.
But until we closed the hatches, he didn't know. He might have been nervous. He might have felt uncomfortable. But when you close the hatch, he was done. It was something in his mind, just he couldn't function anymore. So, but the other side of it is, on a submarine, they work you to death. I mean, it is, and I am not making this up. You will go, I'm trying to get my math right here, 30 hours straight working.
Wow.
You know, maybe get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and then, you know, another 8 hours. I mean, it's just, and it's like that Christmas, Thanksgiving, your birthday, you know, for 70 straight days or 80 straight days. You know, sometimes we'd go and they'd close the hatch, and we literally wouldn't open that hatch. We wouldn't surface for about 70 days. And that is so much longer than it sounds, trust me.
Yeah, wow. You know, and just shows you the technology we have today, because I don't know that that was able to be, you know, while I had COVID, I spent my time in the basement. I went through every World War II documentary that was out there, and many of them were in submarines and all sorts of stuff. It's something to see what these men and women protecting our borders and protecting the world and protecting the country go through. It's really incredible. I want to ask you, you know, here we are in an election year, and here we are once again, you're running, but do you really know in what district you're running in? How do you move forward right now?
There's, that's a very good point, right? I always jokingly say, even though I've never been in politics before, in the last 2 years, I'm now in my 5th congressional race.
Yeah, think about
because
that.
they've changed the line so many times.
Yeah.
And I think it confuses people. It does people a great disservice. If you don't know who your congressman is and you don't know who to call to get the help that you need, I think it's a great disservice to to the constituents. You're supposed to have 10 years, with the same district lines, and you fight over them, and that's supposed to be the deal. But that's not what they're doing.
What are you hearing on the timeline here? I mean, I would imagine you'll know by March, which means you got to move very quickly because the primary most likely will be in if there is a primary, the primary will be in June.
So the court has mandated on or before February 28th, excuse me. And so they should they could have lines any time between now and then. And I don't know that there's any advantage from the commission standpoint, if you do it earlier or later, I don't understand any of that kind of math.
Yeah.
So we'll get them whenever we get them. Nobody knows what's going to happen, or if they do know, they're not telling me. So the lines could stay the same, maybe through legal challenges, or they just, they certify the lines that were done last time. That would be the most, frankly, honorable thing to do.
Yep.
They might change a little bit because that's what gerrymandering does. One party tries to get an advantage over another. So that's, you can expect the lines to change purely around political, advantage, or they could change them radically, which of course would bring up the whole reason they got thrown out in the first place. So the truth is nobody really knows, but it's on or before February 28th.
Okay, all right. Speaking with Congressman Brandon Williams, as a military guy, I'd love your opinion on Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. He actually slept in his own bed last night. But just the fact that this was kept so secret, I still find it hard to believe the White House was never told. What's your take on all of it?
Well, remember I had a serious medical issue back in July with bypass surgery. I was very transparent about it and, communicated, as clearly and as appropriately as we could, just so people knew where I was and what was going on. And I'm hardly the Secretary of Defense, folks. So I don't think I'm nearly as important as that. Honestly, firstly, I hope that the Secretary is recovering well and that his health is okay, and that he's with his family. I don't that's a very serious thing, and it obviously didn't go how he thought. So I do wish him well. My real thought, Bill, is what does he think of his chain of command?
Yeah.
Could you think so little of your chain of command that you don't feel obligated to tell them that you're not available? Is there, is the president really in the chain of command? I mean, is he really in charge of things if the Secretary of Defense won't even tell him that, that he's not available, that he's out on sick leave? I mean, that's what concerns me, number one. And number two is it seems to be very, very, very poor judgment to miss the gravity of the situation, of your role in defending our country and responding to crises. Those are my two, takeaways.
Yeah, I mean, President Biden is the commander-in-chief. One would think that he would be the first one told that there's an issue. And the fact that it didn't happen certainly brings up it brings up a lot of questions. So coming full circle, if we could, less than a minute, where will you be on this vote to keep? Obviously, it's important to keep the government funded.
Yeah, I'm always in support of keeping the government funded. The tool of shutting down the government. It sounds good, like, okay, let's take money away from them, but that's not what actually happens.
Yeah.
It's very disruptive. I personally view that the world is an incredibly dangerous place right now. The last time we, for example, went without a speaker, Hamas killed more than 1,000 Israelis.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think creating that kind of uncertainty in the world by shutting down our government, particularly for not paying our Border Patrol, not
From
paying
the Stanley
our
Theater studio.
service members, that's a huge mistake. And particularly in the world, I think President Xi is waiting. He's not happy with the elections in Taiwan. And we just don't need to give him an opportunity to think that America is weak and can't respond. By the way, I think the Secretary of Defense behavior sends a really bad signal to people like President Xi as well.
Sure. I mean, with everything, with absolutely everything going on, you would wonder why would we want to even send a message like that? So, all right, very interesting, and these are very, very difficult times. It seems like this is a timber box that one match could light it all up. Did I lose you there? Sorry.
I'm choking on my coffee. I apologize.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Bill, honestly, I think it is a very dangerous time.
Yeah.
And given all of the politics that are going on, particularly in election year, where are the adults?
Yeah.
I'm one member of 435 in Congress, and remember that if the government shuts down, if we fail to get a short-term continuing resolution, which is what's on the table right now, 213, I think, Democrats are going to vote to shut down the government, but no one's going to hold them accountable for that kind of vote.
Yeah.
And we really just need to look at this with fresh eyes of, hey, there's 435 members of Congress, not just
right.
However many Republicans are left. That everybody's responsible here.
Congressman Brandon Williams, we'll do it again. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and Happy New Year.
You bet. Right. Happy New Year to you. Take care.
Thanks so much. WIBX Utica Rome News coming right up. It's 8:02.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Progressive presents 10 things on a plumber's to-do list that are harder than getting a small business insurance quote. Waking up for 5 a.m. plumbing disasters, finding out why water is pouring from the ceiling while telling a customer to leave the room, replacing a pipe in a home from the 1800s, then dealing with invoices or your awkward apprentice or that really weird smell, and then there's breathing and eating and, of course, clogs. But the easiest thing on any small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you could save on the business insurance that's right for you. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
Iran has gone on the attack inside Syria and Iraq, where officials say 4 civilians were killed in military strikes the U.S. State Department calls reckless and imprecise. Iran says it hit ISIS facilities and an Israeli intel site. And as Israel keeps waging war in Gaza, it is condemning Hamas for touting the deaths of more hostages, as the terror group still holds more than 100 Israelis and Americans captive.
Hamas claims Yossi Sharabi and Itai Sversky died in Israeli airstrikes on Gaza. It's issued a video purporting to show the bodies of the 2 hostages. They were taken prisoner by the militants in their attack of October 7th. The footage was released a day after another video taken when the pair was alive. In the latest film, a woman named as Noah Argamani reads a statement under duress, saying 2 men she'd been held with were killed by airstrikes. Israel's military spokesman calls this claim a Hamas lie, adding the building they were in was not a target. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stocks could drop after a long holiday weekend. Dow and NASDAQ futures are down. 2 TV shows keep being honored as the best.
The Emmy goes to
The Bear won for top comedy and 5 other awards on Fox. Succession also won 6 Emmys, including Best Drama. Those shows also won Golden Globes and Critics' Choice Awards. 2 more teams advance in the NFL playoffs. First, the Bills.
Josh steps up, and he's going to get the first down. Oh, and there he goes. No one's going to get him. Incredible, breaks it for the touchdown. 52 yards.
Josh Allen ran for that score through 3 touchdown passes, leading Buffalo to a 31-17 win over Pittsburgh on CBS. The Bills will play the Kansas City Chiefs next. Tampa Bay routed Philadelphia 32-9 last night. The Buccaneers will go to Detroit next to face the Lions. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. It's 8:05. Snow outside and a balmy 19 degrees here in central New York. Your news is brought to you by the Stanley Center of the Arts, presenting Standards and Stories with Tony Danza, April 6, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. Tickets on sale now through Ticketmaster. A winter weather advisory is in effect for the Utica-Rome metro area by the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service predicts the area will see between 3 to 5 inches of snow today into 5 a.m. Wednesday morning. Motorists are advised to exercise increased caution on the roads due to forecasted slippery conditions today and especially tomorrow morning when heavier lake effect snow moves into the region and temperatures drop into the teens. So watch out for icy spots. The New York State Department of Transportation says lane closures on Interstate 690 eastbound have been extended. That means crews will still be out between exits 14 and 15 from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. through at least this Friday. The closures are needed for ongoing maintenance on the Midler Avenue Bridge. For the latest updates on this project, head to 511ny.org. The Buffalo Bills are still on the road to the Super Bowl after earning a double-digit win in the first round of the NFL playoffs. Josh Allen threw 3 touchdown passes and rushed for another score as the Bills defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 31-17. Their next game is this Sunday at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. And a fire broke out on Pine Bush Road in German Flats on Monday. First responders were called to the scene around 3:30 p.m. following reports of a fire that could be seen for miles. The building, which is said to be a pole barn, was engulfed in flames. Authorities are investigating the blaze and are trying to determine what caused it. There have been no reports about the building's conditions nor if there were any injuries at this time. We are under a winter weather advisory. Let's check out the forecast with meteorologist Craig Flint.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, cloudy, cold, breezy at times, light snow likely, 2 to 4 inches of new snow for most. A high of 24. Tonight, mostly cloudy, scattered snow showers, continued very cold, a low near 10. And tomorrow, breezy, cold, partly sunny locally, lake effect snow north, high near 20, wind chills in the single digits to near 0. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
It's 6:07, broadcasting from the IBEW 43 local sports desk. Yes, the divisional round matchups in the NFL playoffs have been set following the conclusion of Monday's wildcard games. The Bills cruised to a 31-17 win over the Steelers. Buffalo are hosting Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. Meanwhile, the Bucks crushed the Eagles 32-9 in Tampa, and they battle the Lions in Detroit Sunday afternoon. And after earning a first-round bye in the AFC, the top-seeded Ravens square off against the Houston Texans in Baltimore Saturday afternoon, and the San Francisco 49ers, who earned the number 1 seed in the NFC, play host to Green Bay Packers on Saturday night. The Falcons have completed an interview with arguably the greatest head coach of all time. The team announced on Monday that they've met with Bill Belichick about their open head coaching position. The 6-time Super Bowl champion was let go by the New England Patriots last week after spending 24 seasons in Foxborough. And Jim Harbaugh could be returning to the NFL sideline. The Los Angeles Chargers announced they completed an interview with the current Michigan head coach on Monday. WIBX 950 AM, 106.9 FM. It's 8:08, snowy outside, 19 degrees. I'm Megan Stone.
I love wintertime. It's just the greatest, isn't it? River Hills Properties is the number 1 real estate agency, independent, in central New York. Number 1. For the chains involved, the big chain real estate agencies, they're number 2. And that's a pretty big accomplishment in their short 11 years that they've been in business. It's River Hills. It's all the services that they provide from start to finish. They are working with you. Your listing agent is almost like your assistant in the selling process from the beginning all the way to the end. They have offices in Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica. Online, it's riverhillspropertiesllc.com. And you can call them at 315-896-1009. If you're thinking about selling your home in 2024, why wouldn't you list with River Hills? Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
Get ready for this week's half-off Thursday deal with SeizeTheDeal.com. Score your half-off gift certificate to Villa Verona Vineyard and Bistro this Thursday morning starting at 8. Get $50 for $25 with Seize the Deal's half-off Thursday. Villa Verona Vineyard and Bistro. Enjoy fine wine made on the premises in the tasting room, plus great food at the bistro. Just minutes west of New York State Thruway, exit 33 on Route 365 Verona. Get your half-off Thursday gift certificates this Thursday from Villa Verona Vineyard and Bistro. Hurry, they sell out fast at SeizeTheDeal.com.
Hey, Jen. OMG, look how busy it is in here. How'd you get all these customers?
Yeah, this month has been a record breaker for us. For a long time, we had decent business coming in from word of mouth, but we weren't growing. Lately, though, a lot of new folks have been finding us online, and that's made all the difference.
That's terrific. I wish I could figure out how to do that for my shop, but I have no idea where to start.
Just do what I did. It's not as hard as you'd think. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there are for businesses like yours.
Okay, then what?
If you see that there are a good number of clients searching in our area, you'll also get some suggestions for the best way to get their attention.
Do you think there are a lot of people searching for my business?
There's only one way to find out. Go to mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, easy, and free.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Ready for a smoother, safer ride? Look to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. Tallman's and their professional staff is there for answers, advice, and quality tires at a great price. And right now, Tallman's, when you purchase 4 Summit tires, you'll get installation, mounting, and balancing absolutely free. Summit tires are great quality and your best value in Central New York. And free installation when you purchase 4 tires is an amazing deal. Don't miss out. This offer ends January 31st, 2024. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Roman Herkimer, online at TallmansTire.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Retirement Outlook.
If your retirement account is mostly stocks or bonds, listen closely. The future of your savings may be more uncertain than ever before. Hi, I'm Paul Stone, CEO of Colonial Metals. The sad truth is, our government continues to eat away at our freedoms and security. In economic times like these, run around the flagpole by lunatics in Washington, I look to the most trusted store of wealth in human history, physical gold and silver that you own. At Colonial Metals, we specialize in helping folks with IRAs and 401ks and other retirement accounts move their savings into physical gold and silver. If you'd like a free gold investment kit, give us a call today at 820-800-8000. My team is standing by ready to rush a free gold investment kit to you. You may also qualify for $7,500 in free silver and a free safe. Call 820-800-8000 now. That's 820-800-8000.
Colonial Metals is not a financial advisor. Consult with your advisor before investing.
That's 820-800-8000.
You've put off getting a new bed. You really want a new bed. Let's be honest, you probably need a new bed. Kevin Fear from Mattress Express, and I have the answer for you for the new year. Any purchase in the store, $1,500 or more, qualify and sign up and get up to 60 months to pay with no money down. Don't give us a nickel. You heard me right, up to 60 months to pay, no money down. That includes our full lineup of massage chairs. And yes, it includes Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish, and more. You can get pre-qualified at mattressexpressny.com. Look for the 15-second Express Credit app. Stop into any store. No appointment necessary. We'd be happy to qualify you in store, and you can call 1-800-NEW-BEDS. See store for details.
We all make resolutions this time of year, and let's face it, most of them won't stick. But here's one that's not only easy to keep, but will help you feel healthier all year long. Navage. Navage provides quick, drug-free nasal relief by washing saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril. This time of year, when everyone is sick, Navage helps by sucking out germs, bacteria, and viruses trapped in our noses that cause us to feel miserable. And come allergy season, it does the same with dust, pollen, and other allergens. And unlike medications that can take time to help, if they're effective at all, Navage helps treat congestion symptoms in seconds flat, without drugs. This New Year's, resolve to use drug-free Navage to help you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all year long. Ask for Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or find us online at Navage.com. Navage. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Hey, right now, you can save on a Mazda certified pre-owned vehicle at Stepani Mazda. Ricky Z says they only select the best of the best late model Mazda vehicles for you to choose from. They offer these award-winning Mazda certified pre-owned vehicles with a 160-point inspection and the 7-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. And if you need a lower price or payment, just say to Rick, I need a lower price or payment. And he'll come back with, let's make your deal on a Mazda certified pre-owned vehicle. And see why their customers always say it's always easy to do business at Stepani Mazda.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Coming up, we'll talk to Eben Brown on the new, have you seen the new
No, what do you know
goggles?
about these? These are like VR?
Oh, it's unbelievable. However, they're very, very expensive. I don't see them, and you need more than one pair in the house. Say you want to watch a movie, you could watch a movie.
Yeah.
And supposedly the visual is just unbelievable. But it wouldn't be just you, right? You'd want, if you're sitting there watching a movie with your wife,
right,
you'd want to include her. So she's got to have a pair. Now you're up to $7,000. And the whole family, we're going to watch a movie. Now add, 2 more, 3 more? I mean, that's a lot of money.
As I've expressed before, the thing that concerns me about VR, and you talk about how amazing the picture is, I'm afraid that people are fading off into a VR world. I mean, we do it with social media where we almost like forget the whole world and we just scroll and scroll and scroll. And I don't know, the VR stuff scares me, to be honest with you, and the AI stuff scares me. I know I've expressed this before, but boy,
when you get older and you're not there yet, it's gonna be really bad. I think 'cause you'll be like, I don't want any of this new technology stuff. I still have my old. You're into the iPhone now. You have an iPhone, yeah. I still have my old iPhone 4, and I'm sticking with it.
But you know what? In that example you give, who am I going to be complaining to? An AI bot next to me? My AI girlfriend?
You're right.
I mean, it's just crazy.
Right. She'll be hot, though, She won't talk back. I mean, just think of the joys, and you won't be yelled at for not taking out the garbage. Of course, you'd be living in a pigsty, but, you'll...
Having pumpkins on the front deck.
Your pumpkins from the year before. Oh, boy.
Yeah, it scares me, the new world.
I have some news stories before we get to it's AR?
VR.
AI.
Yes, AI and VR. And
everything's in it. You'll be resisting it. I'll just be confused. Like, what is that called? Yeah. And I hate to say, but with the VR glasses, it's going to start out, well, you're going to be able to do science projects, and you'll be able to watch a movie, and wait till the porno people get involved, though.
Oh, my goodness.
Right? That's when it's going to turn into filthy.
And again, this was not long. This was maybe when the fall started. I know we had a story about basically these virtual companions.
Yep.
Right, and it really is like an AI, like a robot boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. I
do have two thoughts about this, though. You know, if you're someone who, and there are people who are alone, and you had the opportunity to find someone because you can afford it, right?
Yeah.
Is that so bad?
It's not, but you're not finding someone.
I understand, but just your point, you're not finding someone. You don't have the chance to find someone. Let's say that's where you're at. And because there are people that spend their entire lives and they're by themselves. Is it wrong to have an escape? Now,
it isn't.
I do understand where you're going. Where you're going with this is saying people who could find someone aren't going to engage anymore. We're going to be trained to not attempt because we don't have to. And to be honest with you, do you really want a man or woman who says yes to you every moment? I could probably get in trouble for this, but when my wife, my wife was she was engaged to be married at one point before we had gotten together.
To someone other than you?
Yes. What was she thinking? And I just feel like there was a situation there where it was constantly, everything was perfect. Everything was yes. Everything was, if she was gone for a few hours, she'd come home, there'd be a big banner on the wall. Welcome home, Allison. It's like, the hell is going on here? And I think that can become A, a little weird, and B, a little boring in life. Don't you?
Yes.
I think sometimes you need someone to stand up to you and say, you are being a real piece of garbage here.
I completely agree with you.
I certainly need that.
I completely agree with you.
And
the things that make us great, I guess our imperfections are what make us so special.
Yeah, I think there's, think about this. You don't go on a roller coaster because you could get your little teacup out and drink tea while on the roller coaster. You go on the roller coaster because it takes you to places that are extreme and you're upside down and you're scared to death and why did I do this? I wish I never did it. And life is kind of like a roller coaster. So it's sooner or later, I think, after everything goes exactly the way you want it, there's no curiosity anymore. And now, can we build AI to be that quote unquote unpredictable being? I imagine we can.
But we already have us.
You're right. You're right. What do you
we
need?
already have us.
That's it. I'm shutting you off.
Forget AI. We have US.
Yeah. But I do think there are practical uses where there are people who could maybe benefit from all of that. So it's just my belief. Well, and let me go. I didn't realize that way over in the corner on line 4, I see Eben Brown is there. Hopefully, he hasn't been waiting long. Eben Brown from Fox News. Good morning.
Good morning.
So obviously, we're talking about what you're talking about here, and it's the release of the Apple's Vision Pro goggles. And what a visual! I got to tell you, I watched the. It's incredible, but at the same time, they're very expensive.
$3,500, and if you want the prescription lenses for them, it's another $150.
Wow!
And then there's this 30-minute dissertation demonstration that they give you when you buy them to show you how to properly use them.
Holy moly!
And by the way, it's an external battery, I think, as well, or there is an external battery you can get. So that's another wearable. But they are these big lenses, these big goggles that, look almost like the size of scuba masks.
Yeah.
They're not small, unobstructive eyewear. It's not a pair of glasses, right? It's this big honking thing, which I guess is fine if you want to sit down and use it, maybe either watch a film in a different experience or watch or play games or Apple is hoping that this sort of becomes your computer, that you will sit there with they tried to have a virtual keyboard. Apparently it's not going to work right.
Okay.
But you could get a Bluetooth keyboard that would work with it and sit down and do your computing this way, your work. But, about 20 years ago or so, we started getting, in-ear devices, like hands-free stuff, and people have been walking around with those in their ears for a while and, having conversations very loudly in public spaces, especially restaurants, at the table next to you and really annoying you.
Yep.
I suspect that there will be people who will drop $3,500 plus $150 for the prescription lenses and sit in a restaurant and try to have, normal interactions while wearing this big honking thing, and it's going to be the most ridiculous thing ever.
I think you're going to see someone walking down the street, and they have warned. I watched the video on it. And they warn you. It's not for that. But, I do see uses where applications where it will be incredible. Like if you're a med student, you're trying to learn how to do an intricate surgery. Boy, this is incredible. But if you're, and I guess if you're the person who doesn't mind throwing out $7,000-8,000 it's easy to do. You can afford it. I imagine having them around will be a novelty. It'll be kind of cool. The visuals got to be awesome. But remember, you're not buying. It's $3,500 plus some extras for one. Are you going to sit there and watch the movie by yourself? You gotta maybe your partner. And,
maybe you do. That's the thing. But look, I think the technology is promising. I think a lot of people are waiting for something that just seemingly fits into regular-looking eyewear. Meta has developed something along with Ray-Ban. It's a pair of glasses. It's kind of like thick black lenses. I mean, they're not exactly the most coolest thing you would want to see wearing, but they're much more functional, I think, than the than the Apple Vision Pro. That being said, it still looks like you're wearing some other piece of high tech on your face as opposed to just a regular pair of glasses.
Yeah. You remember the first glasses they came out with? We had somebody in studio. That'd be about 10 years ago. But even that,
Google Glass.
It just didn't take off. It just didn't.
Well, again, they are expensive. The technology was still in its infancy. You couldn't really do much with it. I think people are still waiting for that seamless integration with augmented reality where, you're wearing minimal tech on your face. For those of us who wear glasses, it shouldn't be anything more than that.
Right.
And I should be able to still live my life and interact with the real world and have maybe some extra information appearing there in an easy to use interactive format, as opposed to something that's obstructive or simple looking. When my dad once had a car that had a heads up display of the speedometer, and he just thought it was the coolest thing. He was thinking he was a fighter pilot now or something like that. Yeah. But it was just green, a set of green numbers that got projected onto the windshield that you could see. Wasn't anything more than that.
Right.
I think people want more than that. They want to have something that is unobstructive to the regular world.
And I'm I'm an Apple junkie. I never miss the.
Again, you don't have the goggles, but you've watched the instructional video.
Completely.
That says it all about you.
I saw them release it. I watched those events that they have and stuff. But even I'm sitting here saying, I just don't. Definitely not for us. And price does play a role in that. But even if they were cheaper, I just don't know that sitting there with these glasses on our face or these goggles, they're really more like something you'd see a skier wear.
Yeah.
When they're going down the mountain.
Again, it's what you're doing with them. I mean, again, walking around, I don't think so. A lot of people have these Quest goggles that Meta created. They are for virtual reality, and it's for gaming and stuff like that. And, it can be fun. I've worn a pair. I've walked around a recreation of the International Space Station.
Right.
And I can tell you that it's a very accurate recreation.
Yep.
And and the 3D, immersive experience is very, it's a lot of fun. It really does kind of take you there. Again, what are the I think we're still far off from the place where most people will have something that they sit and do their computing with.
However, I always go back to this, and I'll let you go. I always go back to this moment, like 150 years ago when it was Pa and Half Pint out on the prairie, and he's like, "Get that book out of your hands! For God's sakes, get outside and play." Boy. Well, it's going to be interesting to see where all of this technology goes. Eben Brown, as always, we appreciate your insight. Thank you so much.
You got it. Take care, guys.
Have a great day.
I'll tell you, if you want to have a laugh, you go look up these videos of people with the VR headset on, and they're playing like a video game, and it's realistic. So, they forget that they're, they start walking and they walk into a wall, or they get scared by something and, they trip over the couch. Some of the videos are absolutely hilarious.
What's weird about these glasses, though, is it literally will put you, it brings in what's outside.
Yeah.
And then places the screen over top of what really is there.
Almost like
technically you could walk around.
Almost like now the example I gave was obviously for video game VR, but what you're describing is essentially look at your computer and what the desktop background is.
Yes,
that becomes reality with icons laid on top of it.
Right, you could take your desktop and create a rectangle in your space. You could be looking in the room, and you're going to see the actual room that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can create a computer there, or you could place a widescreen television that doesn't exist in your living room, and there it is, and you and your significant other sitting there, and you're watching the same movie. I do think there's something there, but beyond that, if you go to a museum and they use these, and it's part of the ticket price.
Yeah.
That might be very cool.
Yeah.
You go to an amusement park or a Disney type thing, and the ride includes these. That would be incredible. You're a med student and you're learning surgery. Amazing. So I think the technology has. I think the mistake is Apple trying to pitch this to the average person.
Right.
I think it's more of a wow, look at what they've done, than wow, look at what I'm going to buy.
Yeah,
that's my take.
That's a really good point
in watching the whole thing, because the technology is unbelievable. It's really incredible, but I just don't see it being an everyday application. Ann is in Rome. Hello, Ann. Good morning.
Hey, Ann.
Good morning. I got a few things I want to go over. First
of
all, Mercedes-Benz has something in their car that you could be followed. A woman was splitting up with her husband. Because the car was in his name, Mercedes would not do anything to take this tracker off. So it took her a long time, that's scary. I mean, it was a really bad situation.
Now, just for the record, that technology also can be very, very good, right?
Yeah.
So,
they said they do it in case of an emergency.
Yep.
There's an accident or you're
absolutely
lost.
Right.
Absolutely.
My wife and I, she knows where I am. I know where she is. She knows how to turn it off if she wants to go. I'll be wondering what the hell were you doing? But my daughter is away from us right now. She's on it. My parents are on it. So there is a benefit to it. But when for every piece of good technology,
there's an abuse.
There's a bad person out there trying to use it in a bad way, and we have to be prepared for that.
A couple more things.
Yes.
Somebody wants companionship, go to shelter, get a dog. And the third thing is, I'm a Taylor
let's be
Swift
careful.
fan.
Let's be careful about making this comparison complete. Get a dog and
they keep you company.
Follow
they
the
keep
law.
You safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Anyway, I'm a Taylor Swift fan. If I want to see Taylor Swift, I'll go to her concert. I do not want to watch her Sunday.
Oh, you're so right. You are so right.
I don't want to see that. I don't care what she's wearing.
Yeah.
I want to watch football, not Taylor Swift getting excited over her boyfriend.
So can I say that I am the person who you would least expect this, but I am not bothered by it at all. I like to be able to complain about it and be like, I can't believe, because there was one moment during a game a couple weeks ago where they showed there was something that happened on the field, and instead of showing what happened on the field, they went up to the luxury box. That's a problem. But,
they had her jacket on the news.
Yeah.
Nike made a special jacket.
People
so
are...
she could keep warm. She's in a box, for Pete's sake.
I
You
understand.
think she's cold?
But I'm saying, though, well, it is cold. I mean, you can see their breath. Even though they're in that box, it's kind of chilly. I don't know.
And the last thing, happy birthday, Senator Griffo.
All
Wish
right.
him many more.
His birthday today. How old do you think
Yes.
he is? How old do you think? You know.
He's 47.
I know. He's 40 because I'm a couple weeks older than him.
Okay.
So he's 40.
I figured it was 40. Yep. All right, Ann. Good
Have
stuff.
a good day, guys.
You have
Bye,
a wonderful
Ann.
day. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Quick break. We'll come back. Coming up. Believe it or not, you're having a problem with alcohol. There might be a solution. Davey, I'm not looking directly at you. I mean, I'm looking at you, but I'm not saying it to you. You don't have a problem with alcohol, do you? You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
What is your alcohol of choice? What's your favorite thing?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. You don't drink anything?
Once in a while.
Once in a while. When you do, what do you drink?
Bud Light or Coors.
All right. You know, I love a good homemade, done properly with egg whites, an amazing whiskey sour. And you need the egg whites with it.
Egg whites?
Oh, it's the only way to do it. Look up the recipe. It's so
I don't
good.
know anything about this.
Anyway, say you're drinking too much, Davey. I'm not saying you particularly. And they're saying this Ozempic, which will help you lose weight, is also helping people kick the bad habit of alcohol abuse. That's interesting. We'll speak with an expert on that coming up. And people on the ice. Man, we've had some terrible situations, some tragedies that have occurred. You got to be very careful out on the ice. We'll speak with Sheriff Rob Maciol coming up in a second. Quick break. We'll come right back. It's 8:35 at WIBX.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Ready for a smoother, safer ride? Look to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. Tallman's and their professional staff is there for answers, advice, and quality tires at a great price. And right now, Tallman's, when you purchase 4 Summit tires, you'll get installation, mounting, and balancing absolutely free. Summit tires are great quality and your best value in Central New York. And free installation when you purchase 4 tires is an amazing deal. Don't miss out. This offer ends January 31st, 2024. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Online at tallmanstire.com.
Is your bank account tapped out after the holidays?
But you need a brand new all-wheel drive SUV to power through the snow.
Then get more for $24 at Destination Kia of Utica with no money down leases on all-wheel drive SUVs.
Like a brand new 2024 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive SUV for just $448 per month for 36 months.
And that's with 0 down, 0 due at inception, even sales tax included.
Get a no money down lease and keep your tax refund.
Plus, get a 50-inch smart TV included with every new or certified pre-owned Kia.
Now that's kooky!
So go kooky for Kia at Destination Kia of Utica. Puppies and babies not included.
2024 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive, stock number 24T0197, MSRP $30,750, 36 months, 30,000 mile lease, 20 cents per mile over, 0 due in inception, $0 security deposit, 8.75% sales tax, and $650 acquisition fee included in payment structure, $400 disposition fee, 720 plus FICO score, TV retail value $300, prior orders excluded, offer expires 1/31/2024.
There's something magical about unboxing. When you unbox BritBox, you uncover a world of British entertainment. Stream the UK's most brilliant series, including new and upcoming seasons of Shetland, Father Brown, and Death in Paradise. Plus new originals like Payback, Irving Welsh's Crime, and Archie, the story of Hollywood's greatest leading man, Cary Grant. Unbox BritBox and escape to the best of British TV. Stream with a free trial at BritBox.com.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
At MVHS, our team members fell in love with care long ago. Their lives were changed, and their world has been expanding ever since. In respect, compassion, knowledge, and ability. And it's only just begun. Because fueling the future of care starts here at the Wynn Hospital. Local care on a whole new level. The Wynn Hospital. Unwavering commitment and compassion. Learn more at mvhealthsystem.org. This is for you. The first steps taken in the Wynn Hospital are the first steps of a care experience that stands apart. One where compassion can always be found, where teams are trained to serve you well, and where cutting-edge technology is always at the ready. Because here, you not only receive state-of-the-art care, you have a distinctive care experience, one that is all about your comfort in a healing environment. Welcome to the Wynn Hospital.
Hey, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients right now. If your doctor is retiring or you're in need of a new family doctor, they're accepting new patients. Several doctors, nurse practitioners, all under one roof at the Falcon Clinic, including counseling, acupuncture, an osteopathic approach. It's the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. And, of course, Dr. Monaski, years in the ER. Dr. Zielinski, physician available. If you're looking for a new doctor, call today. 315-507-4751. The Falcon Clinic, conveniently located in Washington Mills. Call 315-507-4751. And schedule an appointment. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, if you're watching on YouTube this morning and you're like, wow, is this an old program? I see Monaski is there. Turns out Jeff is our guest host this morning.
Yes, so good to be back, and good morning to everybody.
And let's see, I did have Donna say, so I'm trying to keep track of you guys. So now Andrew's gone and Jeff is back, and that's not necessarily the case.
So some people have suggested to me, and this was even before, that maybe Andrew and I had a problem or some type of a rift, where because every time I leave, he comes back and vice versa. But when you were on vacation, Andrew and I were doing the show. And Andrew and I are still good buddies, and
there's really there's no story here.
No.
Ozempic could help curb alcohol abuse. Boy, that's very interesting. On the line right now, Amara Durham is an addiction expert. And good morning, Amara. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do I say your name correctly? I always wonder about that. It's Amara.
It's Amara.
Amara.
It is Amara.
Oh, okay.
It is
so
Amara.
sorry.
You can call me anything as long as you give me a chance to talk about this exciting development.
Well, this is an exciting development, right?
I think it is incredibly exciting. You know, for years, scientists have been trying to find drugs similar to semaglutide, which is the chemical version or name of Ozempic, Wegovy, the medications that are used to curb help with weight loss. And now what we're finding is that for some people, it curbs the use of alcohol or cocaine, nicotine, opioids in lab animals to really promising results.
Boy, you know, there are so many of the, let's look at heroin. So now this may not help with something like heroin. However, the medicine that people are on in order to prevent them from taking heroin is really just another drug that kind of satisfies the craving, right? This would be different than that.
It is different than that. So with heroin, there's an opportunity to take a drug that will either bind to the brain's receptors like heroin, which will then show someone being high. But there's alternatives now where it doesn't bind to the brain the same way, and it doesn't show being high. And we have other medications to help with some other drugs, but we haven't really had anything that goes from the array of addictions like smoking and drinking all the way to even compulsive behavior like skin picking or nail biting. So this is such an exciting development because we don't see a lot of side effects with this medication. We do know it's only effective while someone's taking it. So if they're using it for weight loss when they stop taking it because of the effect on the pancreas going away, then their reward structure from eating returns. Well, it's the same reward structure that is for alcohol. that is for cocaine. And so these are some of the most difficult things to find a medication to help with that doesn't have a side effect. There's some out there for alcohol. We've got antabuse where you drink and you throw up. We have others where it might deaden and dull some of that impact. But to find something here that is so easily addressed, in my opinion, by oral medication or injection, it's groundbreaking.
Yeah, this is big.
So, Bill, you mentioned heroin, and if you could help us out, because off the top of my head, I can't think of the name of this drug, but there's a drug that they give to people who've used heroin, and it, as you said, it kind of scratches the itch without actually giving them heroin.
So, for instance, I knew of one heroin addict who had to travel. To give you an idea, Amara, we are maybe 50 minutes from Syracuse, which would be the larger city next to us here in upstate New York. But they had to travel to Syracuse at least 3 times a week or something like that in order to get this drug. These new drugs would change all of that.
Exactly. What we wanted to do is increase access. So your reference may be to a methadone clinic,
right. Yep.
where there are only a finite number of doctors who are approved to administer methadone.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then Suboxone or
thank you.
Sublocade would be another option there. And again, only a finite number of doctors are approved to provide these types of medications.
Yeah.
We're talking about a mass distribution medication that doesn't have a risk of overdose. And again, let's be measured. We don't know that it will help everyone.
Right.
These research studies are being done in a variety of institutions, universities across the nation. But it makes sense. If food hits dopamine and triggers that pleasure result in the brain, and sex hits dopamine, you only have one pleasure center in the brain. So if we feel good, we're going to do it again. That includes drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
So if we can shift that, why not? If it is truly a brain disease, then let's go ahead and explore this.
So let me ask you as well. I know with a drug like Chantix for quitting smoking, people have told me they take it, you continue to smoke while you're on it, and then at some point, for those that it works for, they say basically the taste of the cigarette now makes them nauseous, and they're no longer interested in smoking anymore. Does it have that effect? For let's say you're an alcoholic and you start taking this. Does alcohol start tasting bad, or do you just not crave it when you're not drinking?
So it's a great question. I just want to I want to clarify that with this med, this is not about making someone not like the flavor, and this is of alcohol. In fact, this is a mistake many parents make with their kids. They'll say, alcohol tastes terrible. It tastes terrible. Don't try it. And then the kid tries it, and they're like, wait, what are you talking about? This is fabulous, right?
Yep.
Okay, so with this medication, it doesn't change the taste. It does not cause you to throw up. What it does is it causes you to have less reward, meaning less pleasure.
It's a brain thing.
So it's back to that brain thing. So for someone who is intentionally trying to drink less, now you've got motivation driving this reduced reward, right? Or for people, and how this came about is people were using this for weight loss, but then they would transfer that addiction into shopping or alcohol. In fact, there's a long history of people who have bariatric surgery, bypass surgery, or anything doing with food consumption. That addiction just transfers into something else because it's the same reward center. So change in taste, change in effect.
Yeah, I feel like I personally have an addictive personality. So when if I move away from one thing, you rely on something else. Sure. It might be chocolate. It might be alcohol. It might be just food in general. So this really helps in that regard. It's very interesting. And I think with AI and Also, they say with the research that we did as quickly as we did it for the COVID vaccine, it's given us the opportunity for advance to be able to develop things like this going forward. We may see a lot of major groundbreaking improvements in the near future as we move forward.
We can certainly hope so.
Yeah.
There are over 23 million people who are affected by addiction,
Wow.
and 1 in 4 families. So we need to use every available resource and increase this access, and that's what this med is doing.
All right, Amara Durham, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate all of the insight on this.
This is still prescribed, right? Or is this over the counter now?
Yes, this is a prescribed medication,
Okay.
and the indicated use is for weight loss. But again, we'll see what the FDA does with this information.
All right. Amara, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Have a great day. I do wish whatever marketing company came up with the commercial for these, that they came up with a different concept. I'm really sick of a few of these commercials. What's the one where the lady's out there dancing, and is that Ozempic? Yeah. I'm sick of that commercial. Sounds just like that, Davey. Here's I want to keep going, and then we'll break. Sheriff Rob Maciol on the line right now. Sheriff, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. This is this really is groundbreaking, and could, when you look at our jails, whether it be a county facility, state, or federal, a lot of drugs plays a huge role in people landing behind bars, and maybe we're onto something here. Maybe there's a big improvement just around the corner.
Well, with some of the laws that have changed here in New York State, correctional facilities, both state prisons and county jails, are now required to have a fully in place what's called a MAT program, MAT, medically assisted treatment. So by law, when someone comes in that is dealing with an addiction issue, we have to offer all of the options available that you guys were speaking of. Not the specific one she was, but there's three different drugs that we are allowed to use, or 3 different treatments, and obviously all jails are required to have all of them. We're lucky enough; we're a big enough operation where we can accommodate everything that New York State law requires us to.
Yeah.
Some of the smaller jails, they have to farm out some of the inmates. They house them in another facility if they don't offer that type of treatment.
Okay.
Doing everything we can to try to get people from the addiction issue.
Yep. Wow. And then there are things that we could just use our own common sense and not get ourselves in trouble. One of those areas is there's been a real increase in cases where rescuers have to go out and attempt, not always successfully, to rescue someone who's fallen through the ice into icy cold water.
Exactly. We've seen several cases around us here. We were indirectly involved in one recently, but we see this each and every year, and I don't want to jinx myself and say that we haven't had one here yet, but because I know whenever, obviously it's going to happen. But you're right, it's common sense. People have to stay off the ice until it is. We haven't had cold weather. We have cold weather now.
Yep.
Obviously, ice is freezing now, or the water's freezing now, but up until now, it hasn't been the case. We're expecting a really cold weekend, so ice fishing's probably going to be off to a good start after we get through this coming weekend. Unless ice is at least 2 inches thick, a person shouldn't be out on it. You shouldn't be ice fishing unless it's 4 inches thick. These are guidelines. Obviously, this is for water that's not moving. Creeks are a little bit different, obviously. And then before you start bringing a snowmobile or an ATV, you want to see 5 or 6 inches of ice. That takes time. And again, people are putting their lives at risk, and also our first responders. I mean, I listened to the audio of the forest ranger there. The rescue he did.
That was amazing.
That was amazing. But again, his life is at risk. His partner's life is at risk. All these firemen showing up, their lives are at risk. The one locally here on Hinckley Lake, where the Barneville Fire Department, they were dispatched through mutual aid to go into Herkimer County to assist with the kayaker that had overturned. I mean, what are we doing on a kayak at this time of year with a dog?
Right.
So
Where was
I
that?
don't
was
mean
that,
to laugh.
Was that on Hinckley? That was on Hinckley?
It was. It
Okay.
was, yes.
Yep.
That was I believe it was Saturday in the morning. Herkimer County Mutual Aid requested the Barneville Ice Rescue Team. They have a team specially trained. We were put on standby not for ice rescue because we don't have a rescue team for that, but because there was so much open water still on Hinckley Lake, one of our Marine Patrol deputies was standing by at one of our boats in case it needed to be launched to get onto open water. But again, you're just deploying all these resources, and people are putting their lives at risk when it all could be avoided.
Yep.
Just stay off
you just have to wonder, what are you thinking?
I would assume, I'm assuming some things here, okay? And let me just ask this question rhetorically and generally. Somebody who's out kayaking with their dog in this weather, you would assume that they're not typically out kayaking because they would know better than to not be out when it's like this. So what are they doing it for? Likes on social media?
The problem with a kayak, kayaks flip very easily.
Right.
But it's like someone going hiking or mountain climbing when there's an impending severe weather storm. I mean, why do people do that? I don't know. That's a great question, Jeff. But it happens, And just you look at this call alone, the Hinckley call alone. You're talking Poland Fire Department, Newport Fire Department, Barneville, Holland Patton, Forest Rangers, NCON, State Police. I mean, all these resources. God forbid something very tragic and real happens somewhere else too. Those resources can't go there.
So the message is, for God's sakes, be careful out there.
Stay off the ice until it's thick. Like I said, we got a cold weekend coming up, and I know you guys talked about it earlier. A lot of these, I don't know if we call them weekend warriors, but a lot of these people who aren't familiar with whether it be ice fishing or hunting or snowmobiling. We see it all the time when the trails open up here for snowmobiling. You're going to see people who are inexperienced operators getting on a machine that goes 125 miles an hour out of the crate, and there's going to be an accident because they're not. They don't use it enough. They're not properly trained. They're not properly. It's just you got to use common sense, folks.
Yep.
Get with the times. Go buy some VR goggles and virtually kayak in the winter.
You
don't have to get out there and do it.
Very virtually kayak. There you go. All right, Sheriff, as always, we appreciate your time here this morning and what you do. Thank you.
Sounds great, guys. Have a great day. It's nice to speak with you, Jeff.
Take care. Good to hear from you,
Have
Sheriff.
a great day. The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program, Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Pumpkin lattes still around. That pumpkin spice is around all year long at Daylight Donuts, along with all of their others, including that Almond Joy latte, which will knock you right out. Monaski likes the coffee black, and it's Seattle's best. It is a special, delicious coffee. And the drive-thru is lightning fast at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. One quickie here, ESPN reporting, Jason Kelce is retiring.
Wow.
Wow.
What does his future sister-in-law think about it?
Very good question. Will she allow it? We'll hear that top of the hour. Coming up at WIBX.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you,
Shop the Red Tag January clearance sale only at Carl's Wholesale Furniture Warehouse, New Hartford Shopping Center, or mycarls.com.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long. And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Why get an updated COVID vaccine? If you're 65 or older, a COVID vaccine can keep you out of the hospital. And if you have heart disease, a COVID vaccine can help you stay healthy. With COPD or other lung diseases, Getting a COVID vaccine can keep you off a ventilator. Anyone can get severely ill from COVID. But some people are more at risk. Know your risk and make sure you're up to date on your COVID vaccine. A message from the New York State Health Department.
You've put off getting a new bed. You really want a new bed. Let's be honest, you probably need a new bed. Kevin Fear from Mattress Express, and I have the answer for you for the new year. Any purchase in the store, $1,500 or more, qualify and sign up and get up to 60 months to pay with no money down. Don't give us a nickel. You heard me right, up to 60 months to pay, no money down. That includes our full lineup of massage chairs. And yes, it includes Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh & Lavish, and more. You can get pre-qualified at mattressexpressny.com. Look for the 15-second Express Credit app. Stop into any store. No appointment necessary. We'd be happy to qualify you in store. And you can call 1-800-NEW-BEDS. See store for details.
All right, it is 9 o'clock. WIBX Utica Rome. Kilmeade is coming up next.
On to New Hampshire. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's the next Republican contest next Tuesday.
A great place. We won it last time, and we won it both times. And we love it. The people are great.
Former President Trump, after getting a record 51%, winning the Iowa caucuses.
We're a nation in decline. We are going to turn it around so fast.
The former president also got an endorsement from Vivek Ramaswamy, who finished fourth and dropped out.
We did not achieve the surprise that we wanted to deliver tonight.
Ron DeSantis finished second in Iowa, getting 21%.
In spite of all of that they threw at us, everyone against us.
But Nikki Haley, who finished third, dismisses DeSantis, claiming it's a two-person Republican race. She just told Fox.
Now we're in New Hampshire. You can look at the polls in New Hampshire. We're a stone's throw away from Donald Trump.
Now, she and Ron DeSantis will campaign in New Hampshire today. So will former President Trump. But first, he has just showed up in court again in New York, this time for the start of a second defamation trial involving author E. Jean Carroll.
Carroll has already sued former President Trump and won over damages his denial of sexually assaulting her in a Manhattan department store dressing room in 1995 did to her reputation. Carroll was ordered to be paid $5 million after that trial last year.
Fox's Gernal Scott, she sued again when the former president called her a whack job on TV, continuing to deny her accusations. It is cold across America. Wind chill warnings or advisories from Montana to Texas to Georgia to Pennsylvania. And Fox's Tanya J. Powers reports.
Schools are closed in Chicago, Denver, and Dallas. Power outages are a concern across the country, with utility officials like Memphis Light, Gas, and Water President Doug McGowan saying increasing electricity demand may mean issuing an energy conservation alert.
And on Wednesday morning, we think it might actually reach its record high for our area.
America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Progressive presents 10 things on a plumber's to-do list that are harder than getting a small business insurance quote. Waking up for 5 a.m. plumbing disasters, finding out why water is pouring from the ceiling while telling a customer to leave the room, replacing a pipe in a home from the 1800s, then dealing with invoices or your awkward apprentice or that really weird smell, and then there's breathing and eating and, of course, clogs. But the easiest thing on any small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you could save on the business insurance that's right for you. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
A lot of Cannoli's energy started to bounce back.
She has a lot of puppy moments, and she'll be 14 this summer.
What did these dog parents do for their dogs? They switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, play